Berici Eza, the number 10, who just goes through his final little motions of warm-up and then sprints out onto the pitch. And Liverpool today, the Premier League champions, wearing their beige-coloured shirts, black shorts and beige-coloured socks. And in the sunshine at Wembley Stadium now, the players are moving towards the centre circle to line up there to remember again Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva, who died in that terrible car crash in July.
Hold a period of silence in honour and memory of Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva. The silence will start and end on the referee's whistle.
The referee has brought that to an early close because there was some noise from inside the stadium, and I think that has been reacted to with some boos from many people inside the ground. I'm not sure whether that was coming from inside or perhaps actually from outside the bowl of the stadium, but applause there from most on the end of the period of silence. And the last time the Liverpool and Crystal Palace played each other here in London, the only goal was scored by Diogo Jota. It is still very raw, as I say. Well, we're ready now. Chris Kavanagh is the referee. In the first half, Crystal Palace will play from right to left, as they did in the first half against Manchester City back in May, when the man who was over the ball in the centre circle, Berici Eza, scored the only goal in the 16th minute with that brilliant breakaway. And it is Eza who kicks off the 2025 FA Community Shield match here at Wembley Stadium, and Liverpool win themselves an early free kick down in the left-back position. Glenn Murray sitting alongside me, Premier League centre-forward, Premier League goal scorer. I have to say, it seems barely 5 minutes since Eza was scoring that goal and Palace were lifting the trophy.
It really does. Goes quick these days, but I'm delighted to see it back, John. And just looking at Crystal Palace's kick-off there, a really strange kick-off, laid it back to Adam Wharton, who drilled it chest height towards Kirkes with no Crystal Palace player around him.
Yep, so a throw into Liverpool. It's actually 77 days since they played each other at Anfield in the last league match of the season, so the final Sunday of the Premier League season, when Virgil van Dijk was presented with the trophy, and that match ended as a 1-1 draw, and Mo Salah scored the late equaliser. Ryan Gravenberch, remember, was sent off in that match, and we hear the reason that he's not involved today, Gravenberch, is there's a careless pass from Kamada straight out of play on the halfway line, is for the best possible reasons, because he became a father last night, Gravenberch, so has been given the day off.
Yes, congratulations to the Gravenberchs. Well worth a day off at Wembley.
And the Crystal Palace supporters, who were brilliant in that FA Cup final, as you will probably be aware, their ultras have lit probably 10-15 red flares inside Wembley Stadium at the front of their section behind Dean Henderson's goal, and I'm sure there'll probably be action taken as a result of that as well, because whether that's necessarily what you want to be close to inside a football stadium, those flares blazing away in red. Anyway, it is Liverpool in possession. Van Dijk, long high pass down the right-hand side, and Salah is onto this, gets the ball down, gasps from everyone inside Wembley Stadium at the way that he did that. He looks ready for the new season, Glenn.
Well, do you know what, as that ball was raked over to him by Virgil van Dijk and it landed at Salah's feet, I thought, in the whole hour build-up to this game, we haven't mentioned Mohamed Salah once. Incredible.
Yes, the top scorer last season, 34 goals, the winner of the Golden Boot for the 4th time, and of course signed the 2-year contract back in April, just like Virgil van Dijk. Time moves on though, Glenn, 33 years old and 34 years old, Salah and Van Dijk now, after birthdays during the summer. The BBC World Service listeners joining us here at Wembley Stadium, where it is Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 0, and Liverpool in possession halfway inside the Crystal Palace half. And it is with Dominic Szoboszlai then back to the halfway line to Virgil van Dijk. Liverpool, remember, they lost here last season in the Carabao Cup final on what was a most memorable day for Newcastle United. Curtis Jones, there's no McAllister in the Liverpool starting lineup. If you weren't listening earlier, he did have an injury at the end of last season and has had his minutes managed during the course of pre-season, so he's only on the bench, but we might well see him, I think Arne Slot suggested, at some stage during this match. And in this match the managers can make 6 substitutions, so we could see very different teams, Glenn, at the end of the match, particularly on a hot day like this. Looking forward to seeing how Liverpool's new signings do. 4 of them in the team. Florian Wirtz, the new number 7, Liverpool's number 7, just like Kenny Dalglish used to wear. It's up to Ekitike, the number 22. Ekitike again turning, edge of the box, right foot shot! He's found the bottom corner! What a way to start that is for Liverpool's new centre-forward. A goal in the 4th minute, a low shot, beating Dean Henderson, diving down to his left. And the Liverpool players join Ekitike down in the corner of Wembley Stadium. He does a little dance down there to enjoy his moment.
Number 22,
And when you've had round about £80 million spent on you as a centre-forward, that's not bad for starters.
Well, it's actually the 2 new men. It's Wirtz, plays it in to Ekitike, who plays it back to Wirtz, who plays it back to Ekitike on the edge of the box. He just dribbles along the edge of that 18-yard box on the left-hand side, hits it low and hard across and into the side netting of Dean Henderson. And I just noticed his celebration, John. He runs over towards the corner flag and he's making mouths with his hands, shutting out the noise, because he knows there's a lot about Alexander Isak. Well, he's just quietened a lot of people.
There very much, Glenn, speaks a centre-forward who has been in the position where perhaps other centre-forwards have been mentioned as maybe a potential replacement.
Well, do you know what, John, as an ex-centre-forward myself, there's nothing better than getting off the mark. The last thing you want to go is 6, 7, 8 games and that pressure to be building and frustration with yourself. He's off the mark, that pressure's off. He'll play with a freedom now, and I think Liverpool fans will be absolutely delighted to see their 2 new men combining to create that first goal here this afternoon.
Yes, Hugo Ekitike is the man who scored the opening goal at the end, where the Crystal Palace supporters lit their flares, and there's still a pall of smoke hanging over that end as Liverpool almost break through again, but that is cleared away by Munoz back to the halfway line. So yes, Hugo Ekitike, 23 years old, a Frenchman he is, but from Cameroon extraction. His dad was from Cameroon, but he was born in France, in Reims, where he started his career. And at Liverpool, what a start that is, scoring in the Community Shield. Liverpool on the attack again, Glenn. Ball into the penalty area, looking for Ekitike, but Mark Gay's able to come across and head it away to safety.
Well, at the minute, Liverpool are absolutely dominant in this tie, but just looking back to that goal, it was a wonderfully controlled goal. Didn't really have to hit it too hard. It was all about the angle, beating the goalkeeper, and it just rolls into that side netting. Nothing better, wheeling away in front of the away fans.
Yes, signed from Eintracht Frankfurt, Oliver Glasner's old club as well, remember, after he scored 22 goals last season in all competitions. They finished 3rd in the Bundesliga. That was his only full season in Germany, was on loan there for part of the season before. But they're a great club, Eintracht Frankfurt. But when you come to Liverpool, as you say, Glenn, what you want to do is deliver straight away, and that's what he's done. And Liverpool with Salah looking to get it back. Actually, Frimpong's there first. Frimpong's ball in. Ekitike just outside the box, straight to flick it into the path of Salah, who wasn't able to get a touch on that, and Dean Henderson was able to move to his left and pick up the bouncing ball. And of course, the difference compared to the FA Cup final, Crystal Palace survived an early storm, didn't they, from Manchester City? You know, kept their goal intact and then scored on the counter-attack. But today, Liverpool have scored the early goal against them.
Yeah, definitely settled better, Liverpool. I think just as they entered the Crystal Palace 18-yard box again, it was Florian Wirtz that orchestrated that move. Looks really comfortable in between the lines there. Forward runners in front of him, comfortable on the ball. Could be the real deal.
Arne Slot, great start for him as well after the great highs of last season. To come in and win the Premier League in your very first season, following in the footsteps of, in the very big footsteps of Jurgen Klopp, and doing that, becoming the first Dutchman to win the English League title as a manager. Here's Adam Wharton, missed the end of last season, missed the under-20s ones as well, the successful tournament in Slovakia that you might have heard with us. Harvey Elliott, the man of that tournament, is on the bench for Liverpool today. Suggestion that perhaps he might be on the move as well, but not yet. Eza's ball forward, deflects out to the left, but Mitchell's going to leave that and allow it to run out of play for a throw-in 7 or 8 yards back from the corner flag.
Yeah, better by Crystal Palace. First time they've really been in the Liverpool half and had a spell of possession where they're getting Eze on the ball in those half spaces, starting to create for them. At the moment, it's quite a slow game as Richard just jogs out with this ball, no real urgency. They're probably trying to kill that Liverpool early momentum.
Well, remember, did you walk along the touchline earlier? I mean, how hot it is down there. And that was at midday when I walked in, just before midday. The Liverpool supporters behind the goal that Alisson's defending. It's that long throw from Richards into the penalty area. Konate got up high, headed it down, headed it back out of the penalty area into the right back position. Frimpong was able to clear for Liverpool, the new right back in place of Alexander-Arnold. Now Kamada receives it, rides the challenge on the byline, and then in comes Frimpong, who gets a touch on that and just takes away from Kamada as he was attempting to stab it back across the 6-yard box. Corner Palace.
Yeah, couldn't quite get his feet sorted out there. Kamada was going towards the touchline. He was looking to see if he could find a Crystal Palace player in the box. Liverpool just got back, snuffed out that danger. A bit too easy, just floating past the buzzlight. Frimpong read the danger.
So a corner, first corner of the match, to be taken by Eberici Eza. This is to our left, the end where all of the Liverpool supporters are, and I can't see many spare seats inside Wembley Stadium for the Community Shield. Eza plays it into the back post, stretching header away by Konate, did well. It's helped forward again. But I think the feeling was that might have been a foul on Wharton. Liverpool are able to break away with it, but then Palace win it back on the halfway line. Here is Eza. Mateta through the middle. And then Eza is challenged, brought down. Chris Kavanagh says free kick to Crystal Palace in the middle of the Liverpool half.
Well, I think we're in for a treat today, John. It's absolute end-to-end, isn't it? Liverpool had about, I think it was 5-on-1 or 5-on-2 at one stage there, picked the wrong ball, and then right away it's Crystal Palace who bounce up the other end as they cut inside Konate. Feels the need to bring him down.
Yeah, no yellow card for that, which was debatable, as he was in a very promising position there, bursting forward, and he just took his legs away from him, but no free kick. Perhaps a little more lenient in the Community Shield, perhaps.
Yeah, I think if that's a Premier League fixture,
it's a yellow card.
Without doubt is a yellow.
Yeah, free kick though. Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 1 is the score, with Hugo Ekitike scoring on the big occasion. What have you spotted? He's taken his boots off.
That's exactly what I spotted, John.
He's actually taken his boots off. Or one boot. He's taken his right boot off, and he did actually adjust his left boot as well. So
it must be laceless because he just slipped it back on. He's ready to take the free kick.
Maybe he's just checking to see if he's got his shooting boots on.
I think it could be just a little bit too far, this one, John.
30 yards. This probably, well, certainly best part of 30 yards. He's actually calling up Mark Gay just to tap it, which he does. As he then shoots, it's deflected, but deflected wide of the goal off a beige Liverpool shirt that took it wide by maybe 3-4 yards. Another corner to Palace.
It was a clever free kick that by Eberici Eze. Just got Mark Gay to wander up. Don't think Liverpool really realised what was going on, and he just gained another 5 yards, which took him into shooting distance. and gains a corner from it.
Brought back memories to me of David Luiz for Chelsea. Do you remember when he would sort of wander up from the halfway line when they had free kicks like that and then crack them and on occasion scored? Here is the corner. Eze to the near post. Ekitike away. Wharton's ball back across the penalty area. Richards was in there, but it was cleared away for Liverpool. Headed back over the top by Kamada. Mateta's after this, but the offside flag is up against the big Crystal Palace striker, and it will be brought back. Even though Liverpool were breaking away, it's going to be brought back for a free kick on the edge of the area. Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 1 in the Community Shield. This is 5 Live. You can listen to 5 Live as well on BBC Sounds, and we're also on the World Service all around the planet. And let's get an update then on the 3 o'clock kickoff as well in the Super League. Hull FC against Salford. Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Hull FC understandably very much more stronger than their Salford counterparts, who name 5 debutants today. They lead by 10 points to 0. Tries from Lewis Martin and Harvey Barron. Salford up to squad number 63, which even at this stage of the season is pretty unusual. 10-0.
Thank you, Matt. And 2 matches have got underway in the Premiership in Scotland as well, after we brought you commentary earlier on Celtic's win, as Frimpong just gets that ball down nicely. Touch from Ekitike. Verts then forward towards Salah. Right side of the penalty area. Cutting in field now. Plays it across. Takes a deflection. Oh, and a mishit shot. A mishit shot, but actually the offside flag was up as well. But it fell very nicely there to Cody Gakpo, who miskicked it. But the offside flag, as they say, have saved his blushes.
Yeah, it's Vertu plays it out to Sal on this left-hand side, cuts in his left foot. He tries to find Gakpo at the right post, at the back post, but it's actually Vertu who had wandered into the middle of the goal, just gets a touch, which therefore means that Gakpo had just strayed offside. Not a great finish, but a very good save for Henderson nevertheless.
Yep, Dean Henderson, who is at the same end where he had his heart in his mouth in the FA Cup final, the debate about whether he should have been sent off for handball outside the box, and then also at that end saved the Marmouche penalty, but already beaten today. But now Kamada plays it through. Mateta one-on-one with Alisson. Oh, you've got a foot on it, Alisson. An excellent save, one-on-one with Mateta. Tried to go round and danger still there. Sarr. Oh, Sarr is fouled. Sarr's fouled by Van Dijk. He's gone down. It's a Palace penalty.
It is indeed. Ismaila Sarr picks it up on the 18-yard box. He's looking to try and create that angle for his shot. He can see Virgil van Dijk coming out towards him. He just nicks it past the Liverpool centre-half, who dangles a leg. He duly goes over it, and that is a penalty to Crystal Palace.
Well, there is VAR. Paul Tierney is the VAR. But the way that Virgil van Dijk ran away from that, I mean, Virgil van Dijk is making the case to Chris Kavanagh and suggesting that perhaps it's not a penalty, but his initial reaction, Virgil van Dijk's, was a kind of acceptance that he knew that the referee was going to give that as a Palace penalty.
Yeah, we've just seen the slow-mo there. It doesn't look like he gets it right away. The Liverpool captain, arm in the air, shaking his finger, but I don't think he gets a touch on the ball. It's a really bad angle. The referee's called it a penalty. We're waiting to see what VAR make of it. He's just holding proceedings. But just before that, John, Crystal Palace missed a huge opportunity. They played right through the heart of Liverpool. Mateta tried to go round Alisson. He stayed strong, made a good save, but the Frenchman has another opportunity.
It's Mateta. Remember, he missed a penalty here in the FA Cup semi-final against Aston Villa. So Mateta now, hands on his hips. This to equalise for Palace. Right-footed, sends Alisson down to his right. The ball goes the other way, and it's Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 1 from the penalty spot. And now Jean-Philippe Mateta is off the mark for the new season.
It is indeed really cool penalty by the big Frenchman. Just takes a short run up, a slow run up, waits for the Liverpool goalkeeper Becker to move out of the way, just goes slightly to the goalkeeper's left-hand side, wheels away to the corner flag, and you heard it, the boom, jumps up and kicks the corner flag.
So there we are, 1-1, and Crystal Palace respond. And I think fair enough, the decision to give the penalty by Chris Kavanagh, as you said, Glenn, as Van Dijk stepped in, he didn't get the ball, and he just stood on the edge of Sarr's foot.
Yeah, he did. But I must say, Crystal Palace, after the first 7 or 8 minutes where it was all Liverpool that were in complete control, they've settled into the game really well. And they're back in it.
So 1-1, Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 1. And Liverpool led for just 12 minutes. And actually the initial move from Palace, the pass from Kamada, which split the Liverpool defence. And he was through. Very good save from Alisson, actually, with his outstretched right leg. But then in the aftermath, near the edge of the box, Sarr. But Liverpool come again. Shot as it's hit by Kirkez, the new left-back, but that was blocked. It soars out for a throw-in. And now the Palace supporters again singing their songs inside Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, they've definitely found their voice, the Crystal Palace fans. It was a rough start. They're much happier now.
Yeah, these are Crystal Palace voices that you can hear there at the same end. The Crystal Palace supporters, as we look out here from the 5 Live commentary box, they are to our right. We're actually slightly in their area, aren't we, just to the right of the halfway line. And it really brings back memories of the FA Cup final. Here's Munoz, who was so good in that FA Cup final, created the goal. Munoz's cross, though, has got too much on it, and Alisson is able to make a comfortable save right at the far end of his 6-yard box.
They do that so well, Crystal Palace, don't they? They invite teams onto them, and when they get that ball, counter-attack, and it's often that man on the right-hand side, Munoz, always allowed to go to 5 at the back in defence, but soon as they win possession back, he's the one that springs more naturally than Mitchell on the other side.
Yes, I must say, he is a very good player, isn't he? Munoz, the Colombian, the right wing-back. Crystal Palace come again. Here is Mateta, Palace's top scorer last season. Sarr takes it on. Ezra ahead of him, just outside the D now, still Sarr. Excellent play from the Palace number 7. Plays it out to the right to Munoz again. Munoz is crossing, it's over Mateta. Mitchell is there! And Mitchell can't get his shot on target. He was arriving onto it. There was a defender there as well. Frimpong. I'm thinking of his miss as well in the FA Cup semi-final. I mean, that was much more difficult, what he was trying to do there. But
it was very similar, John, wasn't it? As he was approaching that ball, he just never looks comfortable in that situation. It was dropping over to him. No one was ever going to get a touch on it. He got a clear view of the ball. Gets quite good purchase on it, but it's more back across the goal, not on target. But do you know what? All the noise, Barrechieze, Mark Gay, Mateta, Ismail Assar's some player, isn't he?
Well, this is the point I was making, Glenn, before the match on 5 Live. You know, I think they are so effective. This front 3, you've got a little bit of everything there, haven't you, with Mateta and Sarr and Eza. And they are causing problems to Liverpool. And remember, unbeaten in the last 8 matches of last season. And this is your classic settled team, because there haven't been too many incomings and indeed no outgoings, apart from the retirement of Joel Ward, great servant. Here's Frimpong. Frimpong now on the right-hand side, goes for the cross. Oh, it's gone all the way in! It took a deflection! That's what beat Dean Henderson! It took a flick off Mitchell, and that meant that it drifted agonisingly over the top of Dean Henderson and dropped in the far side of the goal. It'll be Frimpong's goal, though. And now 2 of Liverpool's new signings this summer have scored in the Community Shield. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2, but that had a touch of fortune about it.
Well, I'm waiting to see a replay, to be honest, John, because I'm not sure it does that. I'm not sure he means to find that far netting, but a theme of Liverpool player has been diagonals, and it's supposed to, like this time, who rakes a pass out to Frimpong, who's got high and wide on this right-hand side. He decides to go up against Mitchell, beats him down the right-hand side, and I think what he's trying to do, he's trying to stand across up towards the back post, which is the right thing to do, but gets his angle slightly wrong, or we could say slightly right, because eventually it finds its way into the far side netting. Dean Henderson is at full stretch, can't quite get his fingertips on it, and it just drops into the far corner of the net to put Liverpool 2-1 up. And I'm just seeing a rerun. It doesn't get a deflection at all. It's Frimpong's goal. Maybe got his angle slightly wrong. Doesn't matter. 2 Liverpool new signings on the score sheet. Liverpool 2, Crystal Palace 1.
Yeah, Mitchell stepped in, but he kind of toe-ended it, didn't he? The cross. So it came out of the front right of his boot.
Well, put it this way, John, I think if you asked him to do it again, he'd really struggle to do it again. But that doesn't matter. He's on the score sheet in his first Liverpool game.
Well, that's not bad for him either. and he enjoyed that as well. We saw the Ekitike dance, and we saw a little dance from Frimpong as well, both of them bringing something new to Liverpool, and Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving the club. Frimpong comes in and scores in the big occasion at Wembley, his first big match for Liverpool.
Well, I think Frimpong's was a little bit more excitable than Ekitike's, wasn't it? Ekitike's was a message. I think Frimpong's was more surprise.
But he is capable, as you were saying before the match, Glenn. You know, he scored 14 goals the season before last, when Bayer Leverkusen won the league and the cup double, went through that season domestically unbeaten. You know, so he's able to play further forward, and he is a threat. And actually, just watching him now, he's almost playing as part of the front line as Liverpool come forward again. So Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. Liverpool back in front. But here's Eza now, as Palace break away, running from the halfway line, but Konate is able to get a touch on this and takes it away from him and plays it back to Alisson. Entertaining stuff.
Well, it was Konate there, wasn't it, John? But it was actually Frimpong, who was high and wide on this right-hand side, who managed to get back, showed great intensity and strength in his running to get back and put pressure on Eze from the back, which allowed Konate to do the job. But he's the one, everyone will say Verted the most exciting. I'm really excited to see Frimpong, his huge boots to fill in Trent Alexander-Arnold. Well, at the moment, looks like he can do it.
Mo Salah, 2 goals for Liverpool. Salah yet to get off the mark for the new season, and now Frimpong is fouling Mitchell, and that is a free kick to Palace, 10 yards inside their own half. So Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2 is the score, if you've just joined us on 5 Live and the World Service. And is there going to be a drinks break? Yes, there is. So it must be over 30 degrees.
Well, considering there's 22 players heading towards the technical area, John, I think it is a drinks break, yes.
You say that, Clem. I've seen them do that many times when there's not been an official drinks break. I've seen them do that sometimes when it's hovering around 0. In the Premiership, it is Dundee United 1, Hearts 1. Lawrence Shanklin gave Hearts the lead with a penalty, but Jolchek has equalised for Dundee United. And Hibs are winning 1-0 as well against Kilmarnock. Bushiri has scored the opening goal in Edinburgh for Hibs, after earlier it finished Aberdeen 0, Celtic 2. I suspect maybe in Edinburgh today people might be attending events on the Fringe, and then a little bit of Easter Road action, and then other events on the Fringe up there. It's anything like it is here today. What a day that will be there. But anyway, official drinks break. What have you made of it so far? We've had 25 minutes, Glenn, almost, and it is Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2.
What have I made of it? I've thoroughly enjoyed it, John. They call it a pre-season friendly. It is not. It is played with so much intensity and passion so far. Both teams desperate to win, new signings on show, and I think there's been some exceptional football played so far.
So 2-1 Liverpool lead. Drinks break just about coming to an end, but let's get an update as well from Matt Newsom at Hull FC.
Yeah, no mercy at all for this cobbled together Salford side. Hull FC 30 points still in front. We've still got 16 minutes of the first half remaining. 2 tries from Jed Cartwright, and then further tries from Harvey Barron and Lewis Martin have put Hull in complete control. 30 points to 0. Hull FC lead Salford.
Commentary on the matches in the 100 continue on Sports Extra and Sports Extra 2. Watch them on the television as well on the BBC. Palace play back underway. Here's Wharton, been quiet in the early stages. Wharton's ball in. Alisson's able to come and clutch it just ahead of Mateta inside his 6-yard box. And also as well, in this glorious weather, if it is indeed like this all over the UK, 7 matches in the one-day cup are being played today as well. And you'll find commentary on every single one of those matches from our colleagues in BBC Local Radio. If you go to the cricket pages of the BBC Sport website, find the Listen Live tab and click on that, you'll be able to follow those. Also, what is it now? Just after about 3:30, the one outstanding match in the Championship, Leicester City against Sheffield Wednesday, will be underway in about an hour, so we will keep you up to date with that. But we've got a stoppage here because Konate has just gone down onto his haunches. He's got back to his feet now, but they've called on the physio.
Yeah, I think as that ball was floated in from Wharton, he was tussling with Mateta to get on the ball at the back stick, and I think he might have got a finger or a shirt or something in the eye. It's just put the Liverpool man off. He's seen the passage of play out and then just took a knee once it was in his goalkeeper's arms. And like you say, physios have been called on.
I don't know if he wears contact lenses. Might be an issue there. Although he's been given a tissue actually to whether there's a little bit of blood or not, or whether his eyes are just watering. And actually, Kamada has got a problem as well for Crystal Palace, and he's sat down in the central third of the field. So Will Hughes is being ready to come on as a substitute. So it looks as though that's it for Kamada. Of course, you're not going to take any chances in a match like this with the Premier League beginning for these teams next weekend.
No, that's the last thing Oliver Glasner wants. He's been berating in the press a lack of transfer activity by the football club. And it looks like he's lost his starting centre midfielder, Kamada. We mentioned before, there's not much strength in depth at Crystal Palace as it is. To lose a play this afternoon will be a bitter blow. Hopefully it's not too bad, but you're right, Will Hughes, ready, stripped, going to enter the field of play.
Yes, there's no Eddie Nketiah for the opening weeks of the season. He's got a thigh injury, and two or three others as well unavailable for Palace. Chadi Riyad, who's been out for a long while with a knee injury. Sheikh Toure as well, likewise. Matthias França is injured for the start of this season. So yeah, that's a concern for Oliver Glasner, with Steve Parish sitting alongside Clinton Morrison today.
Well, do you know what I've noticed about that little shot we've seen there? Steve Parish seems very interested in his phone, and Clinton Morrison's just chattering his ear. Nothing surprises you.
It's almost like he thinks he's doing the commentary. He'll be giving Steve Parish a running commentary, won't he, Clinton? Who you'll hear later on 606 with Glenn and Aaron. You are joining them, aren't you, for 606?
I'm filling in for Clinton
until he gets there.
Who's doing the rounds at Wembley?
He certainly is doing the round. He's been everywhere. And Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2 is the score as the match gets underway. And Will Hughes is coming onto the field. The extremely dependable Will Hughes, the now 30-year-old midfielder, taking the place of Kamada. And Crystal Palace
John, the way you say that, you make out like 30's old.
Well, in footballing terms, Glenn,
Experience,
once you
John,
hit 30, then the clock is a-ticking.
I had my best years past 30, John.
Did you? Eki ticking. Ball played over the top down the left-hand side. Here is Gakpo. Verts in position inside the box, but it's played back to Szoboszlai in this deeper role today. Szoboszlai swings it out to the right. Frimpong keeps it in field, volleys it back across to the edge of the area, so cuts it back with the volley, but Eze was able to clear it away. Kerkez, forward again to Szoboszlai. Kerkez, who always impressed me when I saw him playing for Bournemouth, or so very often, I should say, impressed me, pushing forward from his left-back position. Yeah, I know you see a lot of them.
Yeah, I think he was one of the most underlapping and overlapping fullbacks in the Premier League last year. He'll fit right into this Liverpool side, and I'm looking forward to seeing the relationship he gets with Gakpo in front. And Gakpo's always on the ball. When he's on the ball, he wants to come in and create that shooting opportunity, and that will just give Kerkez acres to get down that left-hand side. And he has got some engine on him, never stops the boy.
I know we get rumours, don't we, in football all of the time. But I was told quite early on last season, yeah, Kerkez will be going to Liverpool next summer.
Well, there was that link, wasn't there, John?
Yeah.
Richard Hughes joining Liverpool from Bournemouth, so it was kind of an easy link, wasn't it? But I think with Robertson, his age, when you take everything in consideration, he was in the perfect mould, wasn't he, for Liverpool?
And here he is now, Kerkez, playing the ball down the right flank for Ekitike to chase. It actually hits the corner flag and then bounces out of play as Lacroix was chasing after it. So it is a throw-in to Crystal Palace next to the corner flag, which is sort of standing now at a 45-degree angle. Crystal Palace playing in the Community Shield match for the very first time here this afternoon, August 2025. Familiar ground for Liverpool, their 25th appearance in this match, and actually their 46th visit to Wembley Stadium, that courtesy of Jed Ray, Liverpool's official statistician. Throw in for Liverpool halfway inside the Crystal Palace half that Palace are able to take possession of again after Gakpo goes down, suggesting that he was illegally challenged, but Eze plays it forward. It is now 2-0 to Hibs. Yuan has made it Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 0 in that 3 o'clock kick-off. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. I'll tell you during the second half when the lines are open for 6:06, but we're expected to start round about 5:30. As I say, Aaron Paul initially with Glenn and then with Clinton Morrison. But you can get in touch now, hashtag BBC 606, text 85058. And as ever, all of the football action, you can read about it via the BBC Sport website and app on the football pages. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2, and Liverpool in possession with around about 12 minutes plus added time to go to half-time. Will Hughes gets an early touch of the ball to deflect it out of play on the halfway line. Oliver Glasner, very casually dressed in his dark trousers, polo shirt. Arne Slot to his left in a tracksuit. I saw them speaking to one another before the start of the match, and clearly Oliver Glasner was saying to Arne Slot, "Oh, you've gone with the tracksuit, have you, here at Wembley?" Here's Eza. Eza now back to Mitchell, who curls it forward. This for Sarr to chase. Van Dijk has gone with him. Edge of the area now. Cuts in field. Into the D. Still Sarr. Then lays it to his right, but got it all wrong. And mishit it, underhit it to Munoz. And now Liverpool will break away with Ekitike down the left wing. Ekitike comes infield against Lacroix. Plays it to Gakpo. Lovely roll from him. It reaches Salah. Oh, and Salah sticks out a leg and didn't get a touch, unusually for him. It was missed initially by Mitchell and then missed by Salah. Still Liverpool though. Here's Curtis Jones. Jones and Szoboszlai, the two central midfielders for Liverpool today. And Jones is able to take it on down into the full-back position, but he is dispossessed by his England teammate Gay, and Will Hughes clears it away to the halfway line. So Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2, after Liverpool led through the early goal. Very good finish, a low finish from Ekitike near the edge of the penalty area. Mateta equalising for Palace from the penalty spot after Van Dijk's foul on Sarr, but then Frimpong with that fortuitous goal. Is that fair to say? What looked like a cross, a mishit cross that dropped over Dean Henderson and into the back of the Palace net to put Liverpool back in front.
I think that's a fair explanation, John.
Good. Throw in for Liverpool near the edge of the box.
Game just seems to be breathing a little bit, doesn't it? It's been such high intensity throughout the start of the game, and it just seems to be relaxing slightly.
Liverpool start out in the Premier League on Friday night at home to Bournemouth at Anfield, and that, of course, that'll be another emotional occasion, the first Premier League match since the death of Diogo Jota. So that is Friday night. Liverpool with the throw. That's flicked on by Van Dijk, but cleared away by Mitchell on the half volley near the edge of the area. Might have been a high foot by Salah. Actually, he got the ball first ahead of the head of Mitchell, but Will Hughes is able to challenge for that, and the ball's out of play for a throw-in to Palace halfway inside their own half. And Crystal Palace's first match is next Sunday afternoon. It's one of the 2 o'clock kickoffs. It's a 5 live commentary, actually. It will be Chelsea against Crystal Palace. And just to tip you the wink for the new season, effectively there will be more commentary matches from the Premier League on 5 Live than previously. Eza, what a pass that is. Long downfield from inside his own half. Munoz chasing onto it. Into the green acres of Wembley in the left-back position. Munoz's cross bounces all the way across, and Hughes arriving. Snatched at the volley. It was waist high, and he volleyed it high over the top of the crossbar from 12 yards.
Well, I didn't finish how Crystal Palace would have liked, but to start the move, wonderful play by Eberechi Eze. Just gets it on his back foot with his back to the Liverpool goal and rakes a 70-yard pass out to Munoz, who's always willing to get down that right-hand side. Once he got there was a slight lack of options, puts the ball in the box, bounces. Will Hughes arrives and probably should do a little bit better, John.
Yeah, he did. Snatched at it. It wouldn't come down for him quickly enough, and as a result he rather ballooned it over the bar. Here is Szoboszlai, looking even grungier than he did last season. It's now shoulder length black hair for the Hungarian, but he is dispossessed. Munoz tackling back then. Palace's pass is overhit downfield, and Alisson's able to come out of his goal to his left. He's got some competition now. Well, he had competition last season, didn't he, from Kelleher, but from Georgi Mamadashvili, who's arrived from Valencia, where all of the reports were very, very positive, weren't they, from the Georgian goalkeeper, who listeners might remember from the Euros, playing so well for his national team, and having been used to being in the starting lineup in La Liga You know, that is competition.
It is competition, but make no mistakes, John. Becker is number one at Liverpool.
Yeah. Becker comes to the edge of the area, certainly in the conversation, isn't he, for, in inverted commas, the best goalkeeper in the world. Headed forward by Gay. Will Hughes is able just to tap it back to the American, Chris Richards. He became just the second American player to win the FA Cup in May. Chris Richards, slightly surprisingly. Here is Lacroix, back to the big-haired Richards, who's going to take it forward into the Liverpool half. Then back to Adam Wharton. Wharton's left-footed ball, no, he's overhit that, and it bounces all the way through to Allison, and Wharton puts his hands on his head in exasperation. He hasn't been able to get into it, Adam Wharton, just yet.
No, just lost his footing before when Szoboszlai got away from him. I mean, he did have a really good pass that put Mateta away, but so far, probably not quite at his best, but still very good in that Crystal Palace midfield. Wonderful young player, and will only get better.
Was that Wharton's pass for Mateta?
No, I actually think it was Wharton's wonderful pass into Kamada. It was straight,
Wharton
and then
to
Kamada got
and
in
then
half
Kamada
turn, and then he played it to Mateta. That's right.
2-1 Liverpool lead. 5 Live from the BBC World Service are with us as well, and you, I'm sure, will be looking forward to our Premier League commentaries as well on the World Service during the course of the season. Offside flag is up against Cody Gakpo. An ironic response from the Palace supporters. Just looking down in front of us, Glenn, 2 Palace supporters just making their way down the stairs there in their red and blue shirts, and one of them has got the number 25 with FA Cup winners written across the top where the name would normally be. You cannot understate, can you, the effect that great day had on your former club?
No, you can't. It took it a while for me to settle into it, John. I had a really busy day here at Wembley.
I know you did.
On that afternoon, and it was all a bit of a blur, and I sat on the train a couple of days later and it kind of sunk in what they had actually achieved, and it is remarkable what they did, especially beating Manchester City in the manner they did. They thoroughly deserve another day out at Wembley.
Yes, and that's what they've got, but are losing. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. Palace in possession inside their own half with half-time approaching. 5 minutes plus added time. I must say as well, from a neutral point of view, to see Crystal Palace win the FA Cup and Newcastle win the League Cup last season, they were 2 days that very much will stay with you because of the effect that they had on those 2 sets of supporters. As Dean Henderson misplaces a pass over the top of Richards, it's out for a throw for Liverpool.
Well, I think it gives the rest of the Premier League hope, doesn't it, that you can win one of those competitions. Just going back to your stat before, John, Chris Richards, the second American. Who was the first American?
Do you know who it was?
I know who it was.
No, you do know who it was, yeah, no, I also know.
Do you know who he was playing for?
I'm assuming, was it Everton or Manchester United?
Well, you tell me, John.
That is a good... Well, because you asked me, I'm going to say Manchester United.
Correct.
Yeah. I'll just leave it for listeners to work that out for themselves as the ball goes all the way back to goalkeeper Allison. There's a clue for you. As,
you're going to give it away, John?
Not you.
He's American. You've given his former clubs away, and you've given his goalkeeper away. Goodness me!
It's a Sunday afternoon. It's the summer holidays, Glenn. people are in relaxed mode. Here's Van Dijk now, passing it forward. Van Dijk, who scored the winning goal in the League Cup final here the season before last. Ekitika, this is good again. Kirkes now bursting forward. He gets it back from Gakpo, but it's just going to be seen over the dead ball line by Lacroix, just in the nick of time, but showing the pace that he's got, the Hungarian number 6 as he is, Milos Kirkes. Serbian born but Hungarian international. Palace playing it forward, but Wirtz is there and he's tried to whip the ball back, but it took a deflection and almost fell into the path of Sarr. Liverpool are still in possession though inside their own half, and Konate is going to bring it forward, then play it forward. Dean Henderson's come out of his penalty area. Watch out, Dean Henderson at Wembley, coming out of your penalty area, but he's able to volley it away downfield. Liverpool again, Frimpong, the man who scored the second goal for Liverpool. Frimpong playing it infield, but Hughes is able to slide in with a chorus of his name from the Crystal Palace supporters, then back to the blue boots of Van Dijk on the halfway line. Florian Wirtz, low, lovely from him in a tight area, was able to play a 1-2 with Szoboszlai. 30 yards from goal now. Wirtz plays it square. Ekitike lifts it back into the penalty area, but Richards is behind that and just volleys it away downfield. That was nice from Liverpool, shines of real promise.
Already, Wirtz and Ekitike look like they've got an understanding, don't they? Sometimes as forward players, you're just on that wavelength, and they seem to be on it, each other's.
Here is Mateta now, who turns and then is challenged by Konate, and that's another one, and that is a yellow card this time for Konate. And Mateta was looking to play Munoz away when the foul came, so that's why that's the first yellow card of the match.
Well, he should have had a yellow card earlier on, and then, in all fairness, John, he probably wouldn't be able to make that decision, and Crystal Palace would have been on the counter-attack.
Dundee United were 1-0 down to Hearts. Now they lead 2-1. Dolcek has scored his second goal of the match. In the men's 100, the Phoenix have made 106 for 7 in their innings against the Southern Brave. And in the women's 100, Trent Rockets have made 128 for 8 against the Superchargers. Earlier, the Brave beat the Phoenix by 15 runs. As I say, commentary continues on Sports Extra. Free kick played forward for Palace, but Allison's able to quickly scamper to the edge of his penalty area in a quite un-Allison-like kit, isn't it, this season? He loves the black, doesn't he? It's a sort of slate grey with green flashes.
I was going to say steel grey, but yeah.
Steel grey, slate grey,
I must say,
battleship grey.
The Liverpool kit.
Andy grey.
The Liverpool kit has similarities to the 96-97 away kit, doesn't it? Quite iconic.
Yep, it does. Ball towards the half of the way line, the sort of beige shirt, but with the red trim on it, so the red badge and the livery on the front of the shirt. Free kick to Palace on the halfway line. Well, we had a super first 25 minutes, and there's a yellow card for Wirtz. Was that for kicking the ball away? I think it might have been. So it was a free kick to Palace that bounced down.
Would you agree that he kicked the ball away here?
Well, there was a yellow card for someone there.
Well, Arne Slot's scratching his head, so he's as confused as we are.
Or was it Salah who kicked it away?
No, it was definitely Wirtz.
Yeah, I thought it was Wirtz. As Richards puts the ball out of play, and it's a throw-in to Liverpool, level with the edge of the penalty area. Palace don't want to concede another one now. I think if you went 3-1 down in this heat at Wembley Stadium, that would be a tough call to come back from that. Long one forward for Salah, but Gage has got his body in the way of Salah. Now Hughes passes one forward. This is for Sarr and Mateta to chase, but Van Dijk's able to get up high and head it down for Liverpool. And the Premier League champions are back in possession again.
Dominant header by the Liverpool captain, redirect it into his centre-back's path. One theme of Liverpool's play so far is that switch, isn't it? Quite keen to switch it from left to right over to Frimpong or Salah.
7 minutes have been added on. Of course, we've had the drinks break in that time and a substitution, and just trying to find out confirmation of whether that was Wirtz who was yellow carded. I'll come back to that. But Liverpool in possession inside their own half. So yes, next weekend, 5 Live, you will find this season that we still have the main 3 o'clock commentary on a Saturday afternoon, but the difference is we now have more commentary options from the Premier League on a Saturday afternoon. So for example, next Saturday, 3 o'clock on 5 Live, Ian Dennis will be at Sunderland, newly promoted Sunderland, for their match against West Ham. At the same time, Tottenham Burnley will be on Sports Extra. Wolves Manchester City will be the 5:30 commentary match. Those matches that kick off at that time in the Premier League, Saturday 5:30, all this season and for 3 seasons after that. And then likewise, all of the matches that kick off at 2 o'clock and at 4:30 on a Sunday. So this time next week, it'll be Manchester United Arsenal you'll be listening to, which has lots of promise. Gay, long pass forward. Munoz is away. Kirkes nowhere. Munoz's ball right across the 6-yard box, and Sarr in the middle threw himself at it, couldn't get a touch, and it's out of play for a throw into Liverpool in their own right back position.
Well, as that move was coming, Munoz was looking across, he was looking for the runs, and Sarr makes that front post run. I can't help but feel if he just goes to the back post, he might have had a tap in there, because no Crystal Palace player went there, and it flashes across to safety.
Half-time in the Super League, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, a couple of records might be in danger of being broken here this afternoon. Hull FC 50-0 up on a really patched up Salford team at the halfway stage. Among the scorers, Lewis Martin has grabbed the hat-trick for Hull. 82-0 is the biggest home win. 96-16 is the biggest overall scoreline. You wouldn't better get those being beaten today, and Hull would move 5 points clear in top 6 position ahead of those chasing behind them. Half-time, Hull FC 50, Salford 0.
Yeah, extenuating circumstances, reasons for that, as Matt was outlining before the match, and I'm sure we'll have more at half-time on that on 5 Live and the World Service. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2 is the score. Half-time approaching. We're in added time as Konate just fires one forward from inside his own half. That's headed back downfield by Munoz. This is for Mateta. Konate trying to chase him, shoots, but it will trundle wide of the post, past Alisson, but well wide of the Liverpool goal. Mateta puts his hands on his hips. He was in there, Glenn.
He was, and the linesman put the flag up right away, but this is a tight one. I'm just watching the replay here. Can't quite see it on our monitor, but I think he might have been onside there. If that goal goes in, might have had a VAR review, and it could have been 2-2 at half-time.
The flag did go up, did it?
Yeah, it did, yeah.
All right, yeah. So...
I know it's so uncommon these days, isn't it, John?
Yeah, it is. It was Wirtz who was booked, so Florian Wirtz, and probably
maybe just
Liverpool with it on the edge of the Palace penalty area, but it drops for Lacroix, who's able to pass it away, but he's given the ball back to Liverpool. Frimpong and Ekitike. He is a tall man, Ekitike, isn't he? I've got him as 6'3". I think he looks taller than that. Don't you?
From up here, I do. Yeah, he's what I would call, John, is a mobile modern-day forward.
Yeah. Tall, lean. I mean, he's got a lot of hair. At the moment, it is sort of bleach blonde, so that may be. But I would say he'll be 6'4", surely.
Any of that Liverpool front three, front four can find themselves in all of those positions and feel comfortable.
Yeah, Liverpool coming again into the penalty area. Wirtz chips it across, that's blocked away, comes back to the German, and then he is able to find Frimpong, who's in the area, brings it down, but then shoots and got right underneath it, and it flew away, sort of sliced really high over the top of the crossbar. You can't slice two in a match, and it's a goal kick to Crystal Palace.
No, Wirtz looking really bright in and around that 18-yard box, so comfortable with the ball at his feet, and more often than not always finds a cream shot. This time to Frimpong, he just lifts it up to, it's a good first touch, doesn't quite get his hips up and over that half volley, goes high and wide into the Crystal Palace fans.
You're going cream, are you, rather than beige? Quite amusingly, in the official bump, they spelt beige wrong, so it actually read as beige.
Is that a new colour, John?
Yeah, must be. Sort of paint colour. It's beige, don't you know? Here's Mitchell, then infield to Hughes. Sarr, Wharton's ball over the top. Oh, Alisson comes. There was a threat of a little juggle there. He reached it just as it was about to bounce, but he's got it comfortably and he quickly gives it out. And Liverpool are attacking down the left wing with Gakpo, but it's back to the halfway line.
Well, I'm going to go one better than your beige.
Yes.
And I'm going to go that 96 kick was Ekru.
Ekru it was. I do remember that now. E-C-R-U. Ekru.
Yeah, that's the one, John.
Frimpong. Salah making a run into the penalty area, but Frimpong has still got it out wide. He has caught the eye, hasn't he, Frimpong, the right back. Trent Alexander-Arnold. Remember all of that talk in the second half of last season?
Oh yeah, I mean, let's be honest, he doesn't bring what Trent brings. No. Trent is a very unique right back. I think his passing ability, his vision, his delivery is absolutely exceptional, and that's why he's at Real Madrid. But Frimpong might just fit that bill in a different way. Yep. I think he gets forward, he allows Mo Salah to drift inside. He's always going to be on this outside, and when he gets there, he delivers.
Yes, he does. Signed from Bayer Leverkusen, but did start out his career in England, because he came to England with his family when he was 7 years old. Here's Ekitike on the edge of the area. Wirtz trying to find a way through, but too much red and blue there, and Palace are able to play it away, and Mateta holding it up, still inside his own half, passes it forward to Eza, and the Palace number 10, it just got caught up underneath his feet, and he had to check his run, and Palace go back into their own half.
Another thing that Frimpong does really well, John, is, and a lot of right backs and left backs don't do this naturally, he crashes the back post when the ball's on the opposite side.
Gay playing it forward, but Van Dijk is able to get up and head that away. And then Kirkes dives in on Munoz, and it's the Palace man who comes out with the ball. His cross into the Liverpool box. Konate is able to head it away. Comes out to Eza, who heads it to Mitchell, and then Mitchell back to Gay centrally. Will Hughes is there, turning, blonde-haired, in the sunshine here at Wembley. Munoz now with the cross over everyone, bouncing out into the full-back position. And that is the last action of a quite entertaining first half, particularly the first half of the first half in the Community Shield, where Liverpool took the lead through Ekitike. Palace equalised with the Mateta penalty, but then Jeremy Frimpong, like Ekitike, one of the new signings, scoring for Liverpool with that goal that sort of skewed over the head from a tight angle of Dean Henderson and into the net. So Liverpool lead at half-time, Glenn Murray.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyable game so far. Liverpool probably been slightly the better team. Crystal Palace done well on the counter-attack. But I think the relationship between Wirtz and Ekitike is there for all to see in their first game. Liverpool players, this game is very much still alive.
Yeah, certainly for Liverpool supporters, much to purr about from their new players who've started this match. Frimpong and Ekitike have scored, Wirtz and Kirkes at left back. But at the break here at Wembley Stadium, it is Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2.
Good half that, Glenn. Nothing beige about it.
Very, very well done. You were listening.
I had about 5 minutes to think about it, to be fair. It was great though, wasn't it?
It was nowhere near any beige. It was quite colourful, I thought, that first half there.
Yeah, and look, I mean, but for a freak goal, Palace would be level, and that's not the only chance that Palace have had, the penalty, is it? They've created a few good opportunities.
They have. I mean, Liverpool have been the better team. They've controlled the game better. I think they showed both sides of their game today, Liverpool. They can spring from defence to attack very quickly with a long ball, and they seem to have a willing runner in Ekitike, but also they can build their way into the Palace 18-yard box. Yeah, it might be a little bit fortunate how they are ahead, but ultimately they're ahead. Crystal Palace have got work to do, but they did it once, and they could do it again. Ekitike
looks good, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. I'm gonna reserve judgment on that for a little bit, because I remember a Community Shield.
I know what you're going to say.
Where there was two strikers making their debuts, and one outshot the other and caught the eye, and it didn't quite have the same impact as the other.
Yeah, Darwin Núñez. I remember that one as well.
Erling Haaland.
Yeah, very fair point. I totally take your point, but based on what he's done before and based on pre-season, I suppose it's a reflection of the fact that I thought you made a very good point before the game about, you know, at least Palace have a team that know each other really well. Well, actually, looking at this Liverpool side, despite having a lot of new signings, there is a real slickness there already.
Oh yeah, without doubt there is. I think there is a real understanding of what both fullbacks bring. I've been really impressed by Wirtz and how he links that whole forward line together, really comfortable with the ball at his feet, and like you say, Ekitike, he has been really impressive so far. I mean, it was a really well taken goal. He's always running down the channels. He seems to have a good understanding with Wirtz already. They seem almost telepathic, and I suppose that's when you build special things, when you've got an understanding and also friendship. I think if you get on off the field, then more than likely you produce better on it.
Lovely stuff, you two. Thank you very much. Glenn Murray and John Murray inside Wembley Stadium. Good half that. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. Obviously bring you second half commentary here on 5 Live Sport. We'll bring you Palace's first game of the new Premier League season as well, by the way, next Sunday. It's the 2 o'clock kickoff on Premier League Sunday there at Chelsea. We'll also bring you at 4:30 Manchester United versus Arsenal. So for the second half of the show, we'll be live from Old Trafford for that. On Saturday, the 3 o'clock game is Sunderland versus West Ham. Also on 5 Sports Extra at 3 o'clock. This is new for this season. You can listen to a second game. That will be Tottenham against Burnley. And then at 5:30, we're all back together on 5 Live for Wolves versus Manchester City. We've got more Premier League commentaries for you than ever before this season. Scottish Premiership half-times. Dundee United 2, Hearts 1 and Hibs 2. Kilmarnock 1 already today. It's finished Aberdeen 0, Celtic 2 in the Scottish Premiership. We'll take you to the King Power shortly for a look ahead to Leicester versus Sheffield Wednesday Wednesday. A lot going on off the pitch for those two. So we've got second half commentary to come from Wembley. Let's get the news on 5 Live with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been defending his decision to expand his country's military operation in Gaza. It would include displacing around 1 million Palestinians living in and around Gaza City. But he says Israeli forces must act.
Given Hamas's refusal to lay down its arms, Israel has no choice but to finish the job and complete the defeat of Hamas. Last Thursday, Israel's Security Cabinet, instructed the IDF to dismantle the 2 remaining Hamas strongholds in Gaza City and the central camps. Contrary to false claims, this is the best way to end the war and the best way to end it speedily.
But European leaders have called for that decision to be reversed. The UK, Denmark, France, Greece and Slovenia have delivered a joint statement condemning Israel's plans.
This decision by the Israeli government will do nothing to secure the return of the hostages and risk further endangering their lives. It will also worsen the already catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza and risks further death and mass displacement of Palestinian civilians.
That statement came ahead of a UN Security Council meeting about Gaza, which is now underway. Other stories this afternoon, and the EU insists any deal between Moscow and Washington to end the war in Ukraine must include Kyiv. European foreign ministers will hold an urgent meeting about the conflict tomorrow. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are due to meet next Friday in Alaska for peace talks. The government's announced plans to deport almost all foreign criminals immediately after they're given a prison sentence. Currently, they face deportation once they've served half of their jail term. A priest is being treated for a serious head injury after being hit with a bottle just before Mass in County Down. Father John Murray was attacked by a man who walked into St Patrick's Church in Downpatrick this morning. And the TV actor Ray Brooks has died at the age of 86. He was best known for narrating the 1970s TV show Mr. Ben and for his role in the 1960s BBC drama Cathy Come Home.
We are back with the Fantasy 606 podcast. Whoa, Chris, I've got to stop you there. We have changed our name this season to the FPL podcast from BBC Sport. All you need to do is search for FPL, and if you already subscribe to our podcast, you don't need to do anything at all. Chris, have a guess what the code to join the BBC Sport League is. Was it 5E? It's BBC FPL. Oh, yeah. Come and play the game with us as we continue to teach Chris about Fantasy Premier League.
The FPL podcast from BBC Sport. Listen on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
With Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
We have got 2 matches ongoing in the men's and women's 100, and Henry Moran is watching from Southampton,
where we've got Birmingham Phoenix side desperately hoping for early wickets because they only scored 106 for 7 off their 100 deliveries. Jofra Archer back in action for the Southern Brave, really outstanding. His 20 deliveries picking up 2 wickets for the concession of just 16 runs. Joe Clark's 36 as good as it got for the Phoenix, so a target of just 107, and already the Southern Brave have got 12 on the board from the first 10 balls of the innings. In the earlier match here, the Southern Brave women won by 15 runs against the Birmingham Phoenix. First match of 2 being played at Trent Bridge today in the women's competition. The Trent Rockets 128 for 8, and in response to Northern Superchargers 9 without loss after 13 balls.
Thank you very much, Henry. So commentary from Southampton is on 5 Sports Extra right now. The match at Trent Bridge is on Sports Extra 2. So to find that, you just scroll through the radio dial at the top of BBC Sounds. Earlier, by the way, Australia beat South Africa by 17 runs in the first of their T20 matches in Darwin. In Super League, this is a half-time score. Hull FC 50, Salford 0. You'll have heard earlier on 5 Live Sport that Salford have all kinds of problems at the moment. We had a really, really good interview with their head coach, Paul Rowley. 50-0 at half-time. Let's get a bit of reaction to Celtic, who beat Aberdeen by 2-0 in our first commentary game of the day at Pittodrie. Here's Celtic boss Brendan Rodgers.
This was always going to be a challenging game in the context of how last season finished and coming here so early and Aberdeen's first game, but I thought we controlled it really well. We had a lot of really good moments in the game, scored 2 outstanding goals, and then when we had to defend, which you do, you can never dominate 100% the game, but in those moments we had to defend, we defended very, very well and strong. So I'm so pleased for the players, because end of last season would have hurt them, and because they had a fantastic season last season. But we come here today, we play with quality, we play with heart, and we get the result.
In terms of new faces, how many new faces do you feel you still need to bring in before the window's closed?
Well, I don't really want to put a number on it, because that will always come back to bite you, that one. But we clearly need reinforcements at the top of the pitch, and for a whole number of reasons. Whenever you're a winning team and a winning squad, you to keep the unpredictability, you need that freshness in your squad and in your team. Otherwise, it's all samey, and that's not what you want to do. You want to keep developing. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the goalkeeping situation, defensive situation. Midfield, we're really strong, but we need to improve the top end of the field, and I'm really hopeful that we can do that.
That's Brendan Rodgers. Aberdeen, by the way, are the only team in the Scottish Premiership who failed to pick up a single point from their first 2 matches. There's one match in the Championship today, kicks off in less than half an hour's time. Leicester City, Sheffield Wednesday. Wednesday, as you may know, have this ongoing financial crisis. Players have been saying they can't rule out strike action. They're currently under a transfer embargo. The EFL have asked owner Dejphon Chansiri to either sell up or put the necessary money in. Players have been paid late 4 of the last 5 months. Staff have been struggling to get paid too. The players also pulled out of a pre-season friendly with Burnley. Let's hear from their new manager, Henrik Pedersen, on his relationship with owner Chansiri.
Of course, I had a conversation with him about the job, and after this, we are speaking regularly. So we have a very professional relationship, and I think it's very important to have, so I can make the best possible day for our staff, for our players, to make the best performance in every day's training and prepare for the Sunday game. He gave me the indication that he do all what he can to solve the problems, and that he would like to do it as quick as possible.
What's the feeling like in the dressing room? Because it's the players put a statement out this week. It's clearly affected them, and they're concerned not just for themselves, obviously, but for everybody else at this football club.
The last 2 days sessions, we have had a fantastic energy in the group, and I have to say I have big respect for our players and how they have handled this situation, because it's a tough situation to stay in as a player group, a staff group, and of course it's a difficult situation, and of course there's a lot of mornings when they are coming that there's a lot of different energy level for each single person. But again, how they have handled this together as a group and how my staff have supported them. So we have had a lot of good sessions with high quality. It's impressed me a lot. I can feel there's lots going on around, but I can also feel that it's going more and more in this direction, that there's one thing, and this is to make a top performance Sunday against Leicester.
OK, that's Sheffield Wednesday manager Henrik Pedersen speaking to BBC Radio Sheffield's Rob Staten. Barry Bannon, the Wednesday captain's just said this on TV. We're focused on coming here and winning. I know a lot of people will now write us off this season. We know what we've got in that dressing room. We know the fans will support us and be powerful. Tom Gale is at the King Power for us. I will ask you about Leicester in a second, Tom. But just that line from Barry Bannon, the fans will be powerful. We're expecting them to send some sort of message, actually, aren't we, today?
Good afternoon, Steve. Yeah, they're clearly not happy, as Rob Staten, who's done an incredible job across 5 Live and BBC Radio Sheffield, been well documenting all week. Number of supporters really in turmoil, but today does offer the opportunity to showcase that frustration in front of the Sky TV cameras. I understand the away allocation is going to be a sellout. I'm told a number will take to their seats for kick-off, and I can already see that, but the majority will wait outside until 5 minutes have elapsed as they attempt to send the message with all those empty seats that this is what football would be like without such an historic club as Sheffield Wednesday. And amongst the smattering of away supporters, I can already see over the far side a black banner which reads in yellow fonts, SWFC for sale, enough is enough.
And on Leicester, they've got their own problems. They might end up with a points deduction, but on the pitch, no real new signings. They've lost some big voices in the dressing room, and they've got a new manager.
Yeah, on a normal day, as there is a normal day in this job, Steve, you'd perhaps be talking about Leicester City looking to bounce straight back to the Premier League for the second time in 3 seasons. But yes, a potential points deduction incoming. That's due to the club's breach of profit and sustainability rules from their Championship campaign back in 2023-24. Some reports it could be as high as 9 points, which is why many believe that an immediate return may be beyond them. So that's what's looming in the background for new boss Marty Cifuentes, who, unlike Wednesday, and there has been a few notable, Mads Hermansen was the latest to leave yesterday, but the vast majority of the squad he has at his disposal, we're playing top flight football last season under Steve Cooper and latterly Roy van Nistelrooy. He's got that to choose from, which is in stark contrast to Sheffield Wednesday.
Thank you very much, Tom. Tom will keep us up to date. Leicester versus Sheffield Wednesday. So 2 really, really big stories there. You've had Celtic beating Aberdeen by 2-0. Aberdeen, the Scottish Cup winners, yet to get a point this season. 2 live games going on as well. Kilmarnock have just equalised, so it's Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 2, Dundee United 2, Hearts 1. Loads to talk about then on 606. The lines are open, 08085 909 693 with Aaron Paul, Glenn Murray and Clinton Morrison. That will come up as soon as we've wrapped things up from Wembley Stadium in the Community Shield. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2, and Glenn is with correspondent John Murray.
Thank you, Steve. So 2-1 to Liverpool as the Liverpool players sprint out onto the pitch, and here come Crystal Palace now. Still quite a lot of gaps in the Palace section, but the many thousands of Palace fans who are there rise to their feet as their teammates in red and blue shirts come out onto the pitch. Actually, one of the last 3 or 4 of them, last 3, 4, 5 of them are actually walking out onto the playing surface. I'm not surprised in these conditions because it is very, very hot here. The drinks break in the first half gave us the clue that it is over 30 degrees. So Crystal Palace, their team, with the one change already made in the first half because of the injury to Daichi Kamada, Will Hughes into the midfield. So Henderson in goal, Richards, Lacroix and Gay, the 3 central defenders, Munoz, Wharton, substitute Hughes and Mitchell, and then Sarr, Eza and goal scorer Mateta from the penalty spot. And the Liverpool team with Ekitike and Frimpong having scored their goals. And the second half beginning now with Dominic Szoboszlai playing it back to Van Dijk, who hits a long right-footed pass downfield onto the head of his opposing captain, Gay, who's heading it away, and then it's brought on and taken on by Eza on the halfway line, who might have been impeded, but referee Chris Kavanagh says play on. I'll run you through the Liverpool team in a moment, but Liverpool on the attack, and here is Cody Gakpo running at Richards into the penalty area now, still going, shooting low, and it's blocked, bounces back to Gakpo, 2 Palace defenders in the way, then the cross from Kirkes to the back post, Ekitike heads it right across the face of goal. I mean, he was probably 3-4 yards out, Palace players either side of him, but he got up well but couldn't direct it down and on target.
No, he couldn't. And he had his head in his hands because he knows he should have done better. He's just lurking at the back post. Onside is the wrong side of Mitchell as it comes over. Oh, it's a really poor header. He's just got to find it on target. Comes off in the wrong direction, back across the goal, and he knows that's a big chance for his second goal gone begging. And that does open up the argument. I think he scored 10 goals last year, but his XG said he should have scored 16. It's a big difference there. Needs to be more clinical in a Liverpool shirt.
Yes, well, he's already scored 1 very good goal early on in the match, which was laid
much
on
harder
by Wirtz. Yeah, I mean, it was an excellent shot from the edge of the penalty area. Saw it again at half-time. Florian Wirtz's role in that goal, but that could and probably should have been 3-1. As referee Kavanagh has brought play back for a free kick, and Mateta here. Unlike the FA Cup final, when you could not stop the noise from the Crystal Palace sections, Mateta is saying to the Palace fans, you're a little quiet here. And that's unlike them, Glenn, as you will well know from your time playing there.
Yeah, I think he made a couple of gestures in the first half, similar gestures, but they also need to be entertained by their team. They need something to feed off.
Wirtz playing the ball out now to the right-hand side where Salah is there. Salah short head to begin the new season. Salah gets it back over on the far side, the man who scored 34 goals for Liverpool in all competitions last season. Back it goes towards the halfway line. Curtis Jones is there. McAllister's on the bench for this one, incidentally. Liverpool still coming. Ball kept in play, and then the recovering Gay just has to take it away off the toe of Salah, who is dangerously on the dead ball line. You know, he can create absolute mayhem from there, Salah. So he put it behind Gay for a corner.
Yeah, he was just tiptoeing along there. Like we've seen him in so many situations. Wins a corner, but I'm just looking at the pitch now, and there's only about 25% of it in the sun, which bodes well. Cooled down a little bit here in Wembley.
Yes, it has. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. Very much a summer scene here at Wembley Stadium, under the arch, and an entertaining Community Shield so far on 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. The corner for Liverpool, their first of the match actually, in and headed away by Richards for Palace, headed further away outside the box by Hughes. Palace looking to break, and I think Munoz collided with the referee there, and Munoz went clattering down to the ground, and I think that looked like Mateta said something to the referee, who told him in no uncertain terms that it was an accident, and Munoz, yes, he did. He ran into the back of the referee.
He did, and he's actually, it was quite a nasty collision, because I think his shin pad came flying out as well. I think as he was trying to stride past the referee, he's caught the bottom of Chris Kavanagh's boot. And like you said, Chris Kavanagh said in no uncertain terms to Jean-Philippe Mateta, I can't help it.
I think Mateta has said to the referee, you need to get out of the way there. And the referee has reminded Mateta, who is the voice of officialdom on the pitch.
He has indeed.
Down there. And the shin pad, was it one of those little shin pads? Munoz is one of the socks down brigade, isn't he? So it probably is one of those tiny shin pads.
I'm a long way away, John, but it looked small from here.
Yes, it did. Some of them are incredibly small, aren't they, that they wear now. As Palace played out from the back. Liverpool leading 2-1. Long ball from Richards, but that's going to bounce into the shadows. And actually, as Glenn says, almost all of the half to our right, the Crystal Palace end, Liverpool defending that end in the second half, is now in shade. So this 2025 FA Community Shield is currently heading Liverpool's way, the Premier League champions, winning it for the second time in recent years, the famous Klopp win in 2020, and then Arne Slot winning it last season at the first attempt as manager, as Wirtz is impeded by Hughes, and that's a free kick to Liverpool, 10 yards inside their own half. And Szoboszlai is going to come across. How close do you think this is, Glenn, to the Liverpool team that would start in the Premier League? Let me run you through it, actually. I haven't done that in the second half. Alisson in goal, Frimpong, Konate, Van Dijk and Kirkes, Szoboszlai and Jones, Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo and Ekitike. If you weren't listening earlier, Gravenberch is absent because he became a father last night. So he's not involved, but he will be suspended for the first match. Here is Gakpo on the left-hand side. Gakpo threading it forward, Ekitike on the chase. He's got past Richards there and collected the ball inside the Palace area. Now it's with Wirtz, puts his foot on it, the German, crosses into the box. That's headed away by Mark Gay, and Palace are able to clear it towards the halfway line. Liverpool in the beige shirts. Ekitike's ball infield, Wirtz again. Nice combination between those two once more. And then Kirkes also involved. Wirtz ball across. Ekitike on his left foot, but shoots high over the top left corner. He got there ahead of, I think it was Lacroix near the penalty spot, but shot wide and high.
Wirtz is such an intelligent footballer, because a couple of times he's crossed it. This time he gets on his left foot and he drills it across the 18-yard box around about level with the penalty spot, and Ekitike reads it again. He's just got to redirect that ball on target. It's on his left foot, he helps it towards goal, just slightly off target, but another chance goes begging for the new Liverpool front man.
We heard just before the start of the second half that it was Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 2. It is now Dundee United 2, Hearts 2, and Findlay has scored to draw things level at Tannadice. So Dundee United 2, Hearts 2. Leicester City, Sheffield Wednesday will be getting underway in about 10 minutes time. Tom Gale is there and he will keep us updated on that, and the lines are open for 606. Aaron Paul is here at Wembley with us. He's just outside the box to our right, and he will be hosting 606, so the lines are open. 08 085 909 693. You can text 85058 or indeed get in touch, hashtag BBC 6:06. Glenn will be alongside Aaron initially, and then Clinton Morrison, who's sitting in the royal box here and was actually introduced to the players before the match. He will be alongside Aaron for the latter part of 6:06. Palace coming forward. Here's Wharton. Wharton on his left foot, lifts it out towards the right-hand side. He has looked rusty. His range of passing looks as though it needs more in the pre-season. Adam Wharton.
Yeah, slightly leggy. But you asked me what I think the best Liverpool 11 is, John. I must say I think there's a couple of changes in there.
Gakpo heads it back to Ekitike, into the D, then across to the right-hand side. Salah's ball across was blocked away by Gay. And Salah there, he had options in the middle but couldn't find the pass past Gay.
Yeah, I thought he was going to use the defender and try and whip it like we've seen so many occasions into that far corner this time, very unselfishly. Looks for a teammate in the box. Crystal Palace managed to scramble it away.
I suppose the question, if it is to be this Liverpool lineup with Wirtz, Salah, Gakpo and Ekitike, who the two are?
Yeah, the two. That is the two. I mean, for me personally, it would be Gravenberch and McAllister. But I mean, there's not much fall off between Szoboszlai and Curtis Jones. They've got a really, really strong squad, and they're going to be fighting on a lot of fronts, Liverpool.
Yes, they are. As Szoboszlai is dispossessed by Sarr, and now Sarr running strongly, playing it through to Eza. Eza has two players either side. He goes down, and referee Kavanagh says no penalty. Quite decisive there, referee Kavanagh, probably maybe 15 yards away from that, yeah, and he was in between.
He was chasing play, wasn't he, Chris Kavanagh? I think he made the right decision. I would say that Eze, they didn't really get a touch of the ball. I would say he was crowded out.
Yeah, he had Konate on one side and was it Frimpong on the other, and between them as I went down, I mean, there wasn't a convincing appeal, as it were. He went down and had a look towards Chris Kavanagh, who was already crossing his palms over one another.
I mean, you mentioned Frimpong there. I would love to see the running distances of high intensity with the Liverpool fullbacks. They have been everywhere, up, down. They bring such an energy to this team, but with that energy also comes gaps at the back, so Virgil van Dijk, Konate need to be really on into those channels, and also very aware of those two sitting midfielders.
Liverpool leading 2-1. Wirtz has found Szoboszlai, who angles it back. Gakpo shot straight into Hughes, straight into the legs of Hughes, who is standing in front of him, and it bounces forward for Wharton, who brings it forward in that typical way of him. He is a glider, isn't he, Adam Wharton? When he runs forward with the ball, it's a very smooth process.
Starting to create more and more, Liverpool, aren't they? And when Crystal Palace get that counter-attack, they just don't seem to have the fitness to get up, do they? They don't quite seem to have the legs at the moment. Obviously, we know we're a week away from the start of the season, and they were so good at that last season. We come accustomed to it. Don't seem to be bouncing with the same energy, let's say.
And there's groans from the Palace supporters because the ball was passed behind Munoz by Richard, so it's a throw-in to Liverpool. So this, the Community Shield Glen, was first played for in 1908. Over the entire history, how many times do you think the league champions have won it outright, and how many times the FA Cup winners over the entire history?
Well, I mean, that takes a lot of maths, but I'm going to go that more FA Cup winners have won it, John.
No. As the ball bounces forward, Mateta into the penalty area. It's played back by Van Dijk, though, to Alisson. Van Dijk managed to get himself, as he so often has done over his career, onto the right side of the attacker, snuffed out the danger. Then, though, there's a foul on Wharton, and it's a free kick 10 yards inside the Liverpool half, played square to Hughes, who was under pressure there, but he knew that it was coming from Ekitike. Palace players are saying that was a foul. Referee's given them the advantage, but the Palace players have stopped, and Munoz had nowhere to go. Wharton curls it in right across the Liverpool backline. Mitchell over there in the full-back position, plays it back now to Hughes. Palace are smart here. They're asking questions of Liverpool. And now the cross from Gay into the area, flicked on by Mateta, right across the face of goal. And Sarr was throwing himself in there, couldn't get a touch, and it was all the way through for a goal kick.
Well, I just wonder if Mateta just gets a little nick on this and takes it away from Sarr, because Sarr is in the middle of the goal on the 6-yard box. All he's got to do is get some sort of contact on the ball and send it goalwards, and more than likely it will be a goal. And it does. He gets a slight little nick on it, Mateta, and he's got to reread it. Sarr can't quite quickly redirect his body and the ball. He skims off his forehead to safety. Crystal Palace come extremely close.
It was a near thing, as you say, Glenn. Initial flick by Mateta, but Sarr would have been offside. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2, just over half an hour of the Community Shield to go. What about the Super League latest from Matt Newsom?
Hull FC 74, Salford 0. Hull really taking advantage of the opportunity against the Salford side, patched together with Loney's today. 100 or so Salford fans have made the trip. They've been directing their ire at the owners. Hull FC are looking at 5 points clear of those in the top 6.
Yeah, a bit of anger there, and I'm sure, as we heard from Tom Gale, there'll be anger at Leicester as well from the Sheffield Wednesday supporters after the desperate goings on there during the course of the summer. 2-1 to Liverpool here in the Community Shield as Richards turns and plays it back towards the edge of the area. If you listen on 5 Live tomorrow, you know the verdict is expected from the Court for Arbitration for Sport on Crystal Palace's efforts to get themselves back into the Europa League. So we will have that covered during the course of the day tomorrow, and there will be a Monday night club as well, a full-scale Monday night club with Mark Chapman, Chris Sutton and Rory Smith on 5 Live. Ball played forward to Mateta, but Alisson's able to come out of the penalty area and kick it out of play for a throw-in. Munoz takes it, having a better spell here, Crystal Palace, Glenn Murray. Munoz with it on the right-hand side. Back to Sarr, puts his foot on it, curls it in, hits Kirkes, and that will bounce behind now for a corner to Palace.
Yeah, definitely coming to life in this second half. Crystal Palace, they've weathered a bit of a Liverpool storm. Couple of chances from Ekitike, but starting to get a foothold in the game. Can they come level?
Palace supporters rise to their feet. Adam Wharton walks down there and picks up the ball, which is sitting on the surface, bounces it a couple of times and places it down in the quadrant. It's Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. Palace have 3 players inside the Liverpool 6-yard box, another 3 near the penalty spot. Hughes and Eza stationed on the edge of the box. Wharton waiting to take this. He gives the signal, 2 arms up, deep one, headed across by Gay, but cleared away, stabbed away by Kanate, and then Eza hits a shot that might even have taken a double deflection, which took it well wide of the goal, but behind for another corner.
Yeah, once that ball arrived at Gay, he didn't really have too much pace on it, and he was trying to generate that power. Falls nicely to Eze on the edge of the box, hits it on the half volley. Again, Liverpool do just enough.
Speaking of the UEFA decision, I noticed that the ultras in their black shirts, Glenn, if you look behind the goal now, they've put up some sort of banner which has got the UEFA logo on it, and
I'm not sure it is the UEFA logo.
Well, it's a parody of the UEFA logo. Wharton with the latest Palace corner to the back post. Richards with the header, but it's straight at Alisson, who's able to catch the ball in front of his stomach, actually, with those green gloves.
Yeah, gets it well there, Richards to the back post. And just going back to that banner, I think it might have in the middle of the UEFA logo is a Euro sign.
Yeah, well spotted. Ball played forward by Lacroix, but that will bounce forward towards Alisson. The attendance 82,645, and a very healthy attendance for the Community Shield. The Liverpool supporters, and I know that so many of them, like all of the big clubs, come from all over. But even so, 3 o'clock kickoff, which I think helps a little bit on a Sunday afternoon, probably means people can get home on the trains. And of course the Palace supporters need no second opportunity to come and have another day out at Wembley Stadium.
And also you get more tickets rather than the FA Cup final, the EFL Cup final. So it's nice for the supporters to be able to come and almost be 50-50.
Yeah, people who couldn't come in May. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. As Liverpool have lost possession in the centre field. Wharton now to Eza, inside the box, left foot, into the legs of Alisson. From the angle, there was a defender there as well, Kanate, and Eza shot straight at the Liverpool goalkeeper, who was able to block it well.
Which actually Szoboszlai gives the ball away in the middle of the park, and Wharton's on it. We say he's not had the best game. I actually thought he might have went to his right-hand side, because he had 2 options. He had Sarr to his right, Eze to his left. He gives it to Eze, he fronts the defender up, and he asks a big question of Alisson Becker. 2 big saves in the last couple of minutes by the Liverpool goalkeeper.
Yeah, so the Palace chances now. Sarr with the header that was offside actually, but then the Richards header, the shot from Eza, and they're having a good spell there. They're putting pressure on Liverpool here, searching for the equaliser. Liverpool, though, in possession, and the Palace supporters trying to do their bit. 4 of the last 6 Community Shield matches have been decided on penalties. I think it does probably help it that it does go straight to penalties with no extra time. But right now, you wouldn't necessarily rule that out.
Well, I did read a stat, John, that only once in the last 15 years have a team completed the Community Shield and Premier League double, so maybe Liverpool don't want to win it.
Well, there is that. Manchester City won it last season, and look what happened next.
Well, it was actually Manchester City, the only team to have done it in the last 15 years.
That's right. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. There's a very good article actually on the BBC Sport website by Emlyn Begley and Chris Collinson, all about the various when you win the Charity Shield / Community Shield, what it means. So that is on the football pages of the BBC Sport website. The answer, by the way, to the question I asked, over the years, all of the years, league champions have won it outright 54 times, FA Cup winners only 29 times.
Oh, but that's outright.
That's
so
outright, winning it outright.
John, you didn't give context behind the question, did you?
I said outright. Yeah.
I just thought you meant full stop, like who won it.
Yeah, well, remember it used to be shared, so sometimes it would be shared.
That's a long time ago, John.
Well, it's not that long ago. I can certainly remember it. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. Ball played forward to Gakpo. Wharton, who is actually becoming more influential in the game, and he's holding off Szoboszlai, who was all over him. Oliver Glasner takes a few steps out of his coaching area, claps his hands, crouches down in that very distinctively manager way, and gives some encouragement to Munoz. 25 minutes to go.
Growing in stature, like you said, Adam Wharton there, just getting that ring rust off of the summer.
That's Glenn Murray. This is 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Premier League coming, more commentaries than ever before. Here's Eza curling one in dangerously, but Alisson's able to come forward very quickly and just pat it down and then underarm it out. I would be thinking possibly we might see some Liverpool changes presently because Palace are on top. And they've not made one yet. Hughes. And then, Wharton gets that all wrong and just overhits it from the centre circle all the way over the top through to Alisson.
Florian Wirtz isn't happy. He got a little tug back off Will Hughes there. Expected a free kick, stopped, but not here. You don't get those, not that soft. He's still mourning towards the referee, Chris Kavanagh. Will Hughes is just behind him with his arms outstretched. I think nothing, referee, but
Florian Wirtz, who is on a yellow card for kicking the ball away in the first half. Referee Kavanagh just comes over and has a little word with him. Liverpool's new number 7, the club record signing. If it is eventually £116 million, that would be a British transfer record. Fascinating fact about Florian Wirtz: he is one of 10 children, which is quite unusual.
One of them's going to make it big, aren't they, John?
Well, the chances, yeah.
And his second name, he was on the team sheet, is Richard, wasn't he?
He was on the team sheet. It was Florian Richard Wirtz. And for the pronunciation police, in German, it would be Florian Wirtz. But I think you'll find it is anglicised to Wirtz. But I might be wrong. Here is Jones playing it back to Van Dijk. And now to Kanate over the halfway line to Salah, who comes and receives it, but Hughes does well against him. The Liverpool fan when he was growing up, Will Hughes, and he's fouled by Salah and he wins a free kick. They are on top at the moment, Palace.
I think when you look at how the game's panned out, he's had a very quiet game, Mo Salah, but Liverpool are winning. They were so reliant on him at times last season. It'll be a nice position to be in for Liverpool, to have that firepower. If he does have an off day or a quiet day, they can handle it.
Change is coming, Glenn, for Liverpool. So we are going to see Alexis McAllister, and I think that's Endo, isn't it, who is getting himself ready.
Indeed.
Yeah, so at least a double change coming, and I think they do need at Liverpool in these warm Sunday afternoon conditions. We're all right here. We've got the air conditioning now switched on, which is blowing up my back in the 5 Live commentary position. Here is Mitchell infield towards Eza, who flicks it back to Gay. Hughes, a couple of olays beginning from the Palace supporters, and now Richards over to the right hand side to Munoz, who puts his foot on the ball, signed a new contract. Munoz towards the end of last season. Lacroix, who I must say I like when I saw him last season. Lacroix, he's a commanding defender. Wharton's caught in possession though. Wirtz plays it forward, but that is tidied up by Mark Gay, who's able to pass it back to Dean Henderson, who I see has put a black cap on the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, your fellow Cumbrian. Here's Szoboszlai, now taking it forward for Liverpool, approaching the area, little past the Wirtz, shoots on the turn, but over the top of that black cap on the top of Henderson's head and the crossbar as well by 2 or 3 yards into the Liverpool fans. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2, it remains.
And that's Wirtz's first real chance, isn't it? He's been a creator all afternoon for Liverpool. Gets his chance there, and probably from about 16 yards out, John should do a little bit better, at least ask a question of the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. A little bit of tiredness maybe creeping in.
And we are going to have the second half drinks break, so it obviously is still over 30 degrees out there. So Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2, still Dundee United 2, Hearts 2, Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 2 in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. They will they? Underway, yes they will, at Leicester. So Leicester City 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. The 100 cricket is on Sports Extra and Sports Extra 2 now. And if you missed it, that is new to BBC Sounds, Sports Extra 2 and Sports Extra 3 as well on BBC Sounds these days to bring you even more sport. And if you are at a loose end, if you go to BBC Sounds, search Football Daily and you will find all manner of footballing podcasts. And coming soon, I think over the course of this next week, there is going to be a big interview with Wayne Rooney on the Football Daily on BBC Sounds. What's the latest in the Super League? Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Hull FC lead by 80 points to 0. They are 2 away from squaring up the biggest home win in Super League, 4 away from succeeding, or 3 away should they land a drop goal in addition. So the odds aren't looking great for Salford, and you could probably have said that all afternoon, but for Hull FC they've been very controlled, very professional, and they lead Salford by 80 points to 0.
Drinks break still going on here at Wembley Stadium. So how's it started in the Championship at Leicester? Tom Gale.
Leicester 0, Wednesday 0, John. 5 minutes in, and that noise you can hear is the vast majority of the King Power Stadium on their feet. The home supporters applauding the away end. So the majority of the away support stayed outside of their seats until 5 minutes had ticked past. And as they've entered into the stadium, it's going to take a couple of minutes for them all to get into their seats. Leicester City supporters showing the football family in support for the situation that they're going through, applauding the Sheffield Wednesday fans, and they applauded back. We played 6 minutes. It is Leicester 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Thank you, Tom. So constant updates from there, also into 606 later. The lines are open for that on 5 Live. And the 2 changes that are being made, it is Curtis Jones and Hugo Ekitike who are substituted, with Endo and McAllister coming on. There was a bit of confusion there. Initially, Kirkes, as number 6, went up, but he's stayed on the field, hasn't he? Yes, he has. There he is down there. So that's it for Ekitike. Scored a goal early on in the Community Shield, but could have had more.
Yeah, he could have. He'll be delighted to get off the mark for Liverpool in what is a huge fixture, the Community Shield. But a couple of chances gone begging for the big man.
Szoboszlai shoots from distance, but Henderson is able to drop forward, and even though he juggled it, was able to gather it at the second attempt. The shot coming in from round about 25 yards or so. Szoboszlai just deciding to have a go. So with Ekitike having been substituted, what are Liverpool doing now? It looks like more sort of Salah and Gakpo as a front 2, doesn't it?
Well, they've both gone wide at the moment. It almost looks like they're playing with 2 10s in Szoboszlai and Wirtz, and then 2 wide forwards in Gakpo and Salah stretching the field, unless Florian Wirtz is just going to push up. I think McAllister dropped in that 10 role and Wirtz maybe into the 9. Very, very fluid, I would say, John.
Yeah, with Endo very much as the holding player in front of the back 4, which I guess that was a bit of a clatter there, wasn't it, on
Well, it was actually Endo
Frimpong.
who tackled Frimpong, wasn't
hit
it?
Frimpong. Frimpong has stayed down. So and actually it's been put out of play by Kirkes. They're just conscious of the fact that Frimpong has taken a bang. You say from his own man, from Endo.
Yeah, I think it was Endo trying to clear the ball. He just runs into it. Yeah,
yeah,
he does. He just catches the right back and right away, arm in the air on the floor. He's hurt, patting the ground. It doesn't look good, this, for the Liverpool man.
No, he's holding his right shin, and in actual fact, they've not brought the medical people on yet, so it can't be too serious, you would think. Although actually, the stretch has appeared.
Is that precaution? I hope it is.
I think that must be a precaution, because if
yeah,
it's
he's
serious,
up on his feet.
You'd have called you'd have called the physio on straight away, wouldn't you? Yeah, and he's on his feet. So that's good news. Still Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2. Back to Leicester. Tom Gale, what's happened?
Leicester 0, Wednesday 0, John, but the visitors have hit the post. Nathaniel Chalobah, right side of the penalty area, doesn't catch it as clean as he likes. It bounces a couple of times, but Stolarczyk was beaten. It came off the frame of his goal. Leicester 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Yeah, he's okay for Frimpong. I think it's just a sore one on the shin, wasn't it? Maybe above one of those little shin pads.
Yeah, maybe, John.
And he's on his feet and he's okay, and he's just rubbing his right shin.
Some introduction for Endo, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, so that's the change that Arne Slaughter's made. There's no Gravenberch today, as we've said, so Endo has been put in there because Crystal Palace had more of the game over the course of the last 15 minutes or so. I see Palace themselves are going to bring on their new signing, the Croatian international left-back Borna Sosa is going to come on for his competitive debut, in inverted commas. I think you do. I have to say, I do consider the Community Shield to be a competitive match, even though it is, in inverted commas, a friendly. It's the most important of all of the friendlies, as Eza just tracks the ball across the field from left to right and plays it back to Richards, and Palace go back into their own half. Also, by the way, this coming midweek, 5 Live will be the place on Wednesday night to hear the UEFA Super Cup match involving Paris Saint-Germain and Tottenham Hotspur. We will be going to Udine this week. Paul Robinson will be with me, and I think there's that is a very interesting match. So that is on 5 Live from Italy on Wednesday night, where I'm told it's going to be very warm. Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 2, and just a quiet period of the Community Shield just at the moment. After Liverpool made those changes, Palace just going patient.
Yeah, just making the pitch expansive, making Liverpool run after it a little bit, just enjoying being in possession, put their foot on the ball, trying to just shift the ball forward carefully, clearly, through the thirds, trying to just pick Liverpool off.
Chris Richards forward to Mateta, then back towards the edge of the area, where Richards is able to play to his right to Lacroix, and then back centrally to Richards, who moves out of the sunshine into the shadows.
Liverpool are almost a back six. They're just inviting Crystal Palace on at the moment. McAllister and Endo were either side of Kanate and Van Dijk for a while there.
Mark Gay goes for a long diagonal pass forward that Munoz heads in field, but then across comes McAllister, involved for the first time to crack it out of play. Palace take a quick throw. Munoz. We're into the last 15 minutes now, and Liverpool still lead by 2-1. Lines open for 6:06. Aaron Paul is here at Wembley. We'll be taking your calls with Glenn Murray and then Clinton Morrison. 08 085 909 693 after the opening weekend of the football the championship matches. Ball played through from Wharton. Now Sarr could be in. He is! Shoots in off a post, and Palace have got the second equaliser that their play in the second half has deserved. Lovely ball over the top, and Sarr scores at Wembley again after his 2 goals in the FA Cup semi-final. It's Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2.
It is indeed, and this time he breaks the offside trap. It's a wonderful pass from Wharton. He just slides it through into Sarr's path. He takes quite a heavy touch. Goalkeeper comes running out. Alisson can't quite thwart the ball. He hits it hard, hits the post, inside the post and into the back of the net. Crystal Palace back in it, 2-2, and nothing short, like you say, of what they deserve, John. Very patient from the South London club. In possession, they built up slowly. They were cool, they were calm, and eventually They unlock Liverpool's defence.
Yeah, great composure from Crystal Palace there. After Liverpool made the changes, they slightly adjusted their approach there. And then, maybe when Liverpool had relaxed, suddenly they went for it, and Wharton with the crucial pass. And as we say, he'd become more influential, and that is exactly what they were looking for from him.
It was indeed, and we just said, didn't we, that Liverpool had sat back, and at times they were in a 6, and they were almost inviting Crystal Palace on. Well, when you're in a 6, you should not break the offside line. You should stay with your runners. No one stays with Sarr. I think he actually might have ran off Kirkes. There's plenty of time in the box. Like I said, quite a heavy touch, but manages to get away with it. And he scores again at Wembley, Ismaila Sarr.
Yes, he does. I mean, he was superb, wasn't he? Both in the semi-final and the FA Cup final itself, Sarr. And so we do see the change, and it is Tyrick Mitchell, so left wing back for left wing back with Bona Sosa coming on.
Well, you mentioned about the way that Wharton glides. No one glides better than Ismaila Sarr on the football field. Once he goes, you cannot catch him.
So 2-2 it is, and we are heading to penalties. Just over 10 minutes of the 90 to play. And again, if you've just switched on, the Community Shield goes straight to penalties after the 90 minutes and out of time. There will be no extra time. So Palace coming forward, thinking about winning it. Eze's ball over the top, taken down by Sarr, and he shoots via a deflection up and over the crossbar. And actually, that was well defended by Kirkes, who threw himself in front of it.
Well, Sarr's ran to the referee, Chris Kavanagh. He said it's handball. I thought that Sarr maybe brought it down with his hand to control it, but he is insistent that it wasn't him. It was the Liverpool defender that was tracking back. I think it's McAllister.
Kirkes, I think it is.
He wants a review. He wants a VAR review. I'm pretty sure it was McAllister in the middle of the goal, John. But
Sarr took it down. Well, let's have a look. VAR will be looking at this. Right, we are now seeing the replay of this, and
that's a wonderful challenge, isn't it, by Kirkes? A recovering challenge.
I mean, his arms were flailing, but that's come off the back of his leg.
No, I think it's the original, is it not? Is it as he brings the ball down out of the air?
Oh, really? Right, well,
they're still waiting. Here we are. This is the one here.
Oh,
it
over
is McAllister. It is McAllister, and his arm's in the air. Oh, he does touch him. It is going to fall onto Sarr's chest. He does hit McAllister's arm, but it falls really kindly, doesn't it, for Sarr? I don't think.
Do you give a penalty for that?
Well, there's no benefit to it, and
no, they said no. And that, that's a great test case. That, that's one for Stockley Park PGMOL to say that's setting the tone. That's not a penalty.
Well, I mean, that remains to be seen throughout the season. They've set a very, very high bar there, John.
That's what they're saying, though. If an incident happens like that, it's not a penalty. As it's a corner to Palace, swung in. The score is 2-2, no penalty. As Hughes plays it back in, but that's cleared away. Hughes had to get there first against Szoboszlai. But he did.
He had to take everything. If he didn't get the ball, he had to take everything there because Szoboszlai was away and Will Hughes wasn't not catching him.
So going back to that, do you think that's the right decision, Glenn, not to call that as a penalty?
Depends what generation you're asking, John. Over the course of the last 5 seasons, that is a penalty.
Well, sometimes it has been, sometimes it hasn't.
Yeah, I don't believe that should be a penalty. I think it was quite beneficial to Sarr the way it dropped. He still had the opportunity, but it did hit McAllister's arm. 5 foot in the air? In a European competition, that will be a penalty.
Did you see Friday night in the Championship? The Birmingham City Ipswich penalty, which was very controversial, which was given to Ipswich, who scored the equaliser. That was not unlike what we've just seen, but that was given as a penalty on the field by the referee. This was not given by the referee on the field.
See, I am comfortable, and I agree that wasn't a penalty. I'm just saying that these two teams are going to be playing in a European competition, and in Europe that would be a penalty.
Yes, almost certainly. So it remains Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2, and we've got less than 10 minutes of the Community Shield to go here on what has been an entertaining match between the Premier League winners, Liverpool, and the FA Cup winners, Crystal Palace. Kirkes now on the attack down the left-hand side, plays the ball all the way across, and the shot by Salah was straight at Henderson, who was able to gather it in. Salah was onto that left foot, maybe 13 yards out, but straight at the Palace goalkeeper.
Well, it's a good job it was straight down Dean Henderson's throat, because he really caught that ball, Mo Salah. We said he'd been quiet, but he nearly had the defining touch of the game there. Wonderful the way he just drifted into the middle of the box there, and he catches that, skips off the turf, right in to a very thankful Dean Henderson's hands.
So, Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2. That decision not to give the penalty to Crystal Palace will certainly be a talking point after it hit the hand of McAllister when Sarr was looking to chest it down. Before then the shot of Sarr was brilliantly blocked over the top of the crossbar by Kirkes, as Kirkes has lost it, or he's been dispossessed. Palace foot again, Sarr now to Munoz angles it back. Oh, Mateta's got that all wrong on his left foot. He snatched at it, edge of the area, and hit it badly, high and wide.
He did indeed. Just a bit of tiredness, I think, from both sets of players. It's McAllister who gives the ball away, and Sarr runs down this right-hand side, waits for the overlap. Munoz gives it right on the touchline. He looks for a cutback. There's no one there. Mateta's on the edge of the box. He finds him. He tries to off balance, hit it first time, open his body out, hit with his left foot, get it all wrong.
Liverpool going to make another change, and Florian Wirtz is withdrawn, the club record signing. Harvey Elliott coming on to replace him. While they do that, more from the Super League and Matt Newsom.
Yeah, full time here. Hull FC 80, Salford 6. One of the most touching moments of the afternoon. Brad Dwyer scoring at the end for Salford. The whole stadium applauded. 14 tries though for Hull against a patched up Salford team. 4 for Lewis Martin. They move into 6th place above Wakefield, whereas Salford back at the bottom of the table. Still just the 2 wins, but in a way, just getting through this game was a bit of a victory for them on a moral basis. Hull FC 80, Salford 6 full time.
Still Leicester City 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0, still Dundee United 2, Hearts 2, Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 2, and as I say, Harvey Elliott is on for Wirtz. Glenn Murray will give us an assessment on how you think Wirtz played for Liverpool, but Adam Wharton is also substituted by Crystal Palace, with Jefferson Lerma coming on to replace him in the midfield. And remember, Wharton was injured at the end of last season, so I'm sure that is a case of managing minutes for Adam Wharton.
Well, I think it's been a real positive performance from Wirtz in a Liverpool shirt. Very, very dominant, especially in the first half. Linked the ball well, created well, had a good understanding with Ekitike before he got brought off, but tired, very much so. And I think you find that when you come from other European leagues, at times the Bundesliga maybe isn't quite as end-to-end as the Premier League or as what today has been, so that is something he's got to get up to speed with, but looks a very, very good signing for Liverpool.
That's Glenn Murray. This is 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC. Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2. Hope you're going to join us all the way during the course of the coming Premier League season for all of the various commentaries that we've got. Sunderland, West Ham with Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin next Saturday afternoon. This time next week we'll be bringing you Manchester United against Arsenal. So 5 Live in the World Service for all of that. Andy Robertson's on as well, Glenn, to take the place of Kirkes, who has been very good, hasn't he, coming forward and made that important block there as well from the shot from Sarr. Kirkes.
Yeah, very good. Obviously we know what to expect from Kirkes. Seen him in a Bournemouth shirt last year. Looks like he slipped into this Liverpool system very easily.
So here's substitute Harvey Elliott, who I enjoyed talking to a couple of times when we were in Slovakia at the end of the season, when England won the under-21 tournament again under Lee Carsley, and Harvey Elliott, 5 goals scored in the semi-final and the final, player of the tournament, and he's on taking the place of Wirtz. Szoboszlai running his foot over the ball, heading to penalties in the Community Shield. Sun still shining on Liverpool as they attack into the Palace defensive third. Elliott across, little touch near the edge of the box by McAllister, then back to Endo, who plays it out to the right hand side. Salah is onto this, ball across the box, that's deflected, bounces down. 1 or 2 shouts from the Liverpool supporters for handball, then Eze was certainly impeded as he was bringing it forward, and that's a free kick to Palace, and it's a yellow card as well to Salah. Points at his chest and said, for me. But
it's a professional foul, but I think it's a bit of a soft one for a yellow card at this stage of the game, isn't it, John?
Well, he was breaking away, Eze.
Had a long way to
Was
go.
he not? He did have a long way to go.
It's on the edge of his own 18-yard box, John.
He's a very good player, isn't he?
He's fast, but...
So a yellow card for Salah, no goals, and a yellow card in the Community Shield. Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2. It's looking like we might well have a penalty shootout to describe, but we'll see what happens here. There'll be plenty of time to be added on because of the drinks break. And Palace now, Hughes in, clatters in on the challenge there on Harvey Elliott, but Harvey Elliott stood up to that and actually brings the ball away and is then fouled by Munoz, and it's a free kick to Liverpool halfway inside their own half. When I spoke to him after the final in Bratislava, Glenn, it was very clear he wasn't sure what the future was going to hold for him, but he's still there, at least for the time being. But with Harvey Elliott, 6 starts last season, 22 substitute appearances, and it's obvious what he needs to do, isn't it, at 22 years old with the talent that he has.
Well, yeah, and we talk about who they've brought in and how strong that midfield is and the options they've got. And when you're keeping someone that has won the under-21s, the best player in the tournament, out, then you must have a special team.
Here is Liverpool attacking with Frimpong. Harvey Elliott is onto this, plays it infield to Endo, comes back to Konate, then back to Van Dijk in the centre circle. Liverpool have got lots of penalty shootout winning experience in recent years at Wembley. Munoz plays it forward, but that's a handball and a free kick to Palace in their own right back position. Hearts have got what might be a late winner in added time. Finlay making it. Dundee United 2, Hearts 3. Still 2-2 between Hibs and Kilmarnock. Free kick for Palace after that handball. Dean Henderson is going to take this. We are in the 90th minute and it has finished. Dundee United 2, Hearts 3, and also it is Hibernian 2, Kilmarnock 2, the full-time score at Easter Road, after Celtic won at Aberdeen in our earlier commentary match on 5 Live on this Sunday afternoon. Lines open for 606 08 085 909 693 after perhaps the penalty shootout to decide the Community Shield for 2025. Liverpool with Endo taking it all the way back into his own half and passing it back to Alisson, who looks up. The bearded Brazilian goalkeeper Sosa gets up to head it forward for Crystal Palace, and then there's an overhead kick away by McAllister, which very nearly clattered Will Hughes on the head, but he did make contact with the ball, so the referee allows it to go. Eza dropping a shoulder here and there, and then back to Lerma. Mark Gay is sat down inside his own half. Just 5 minutes of added time. Munoz now. Munoz plays it back centrally. An opening goal at Leicester. We'll go there in a minute. But Hughes plays it into the box. Sosa on the chase. Sosa pulls it across, but straight into the gloves of Alisson. So to Leicester, Tom Gale.
Leicester City 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, John. Nathaniel Chalobah. Valerie got to the byline. He cut it back to the midfielder. It deflected home. He then ran the whole of the pitch to the away end, which is still beginning to fill, to celebrate with the supporters, pointing at them, saying, we're here in this as one. It is Leicester City 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1. We've played 26 minutes.
Liverpool breaking away downfield, but excellent defending by Lacroix against Salah to deflect it behind for a Liverpool corner. That was a danger.
It was, yeah. He was driving into the Crystal Palace box. He was turning this way and that, and Lacroix kept his eyes on the ball just enough to drag it away from Salah's feet. Results in a Liverpool corner.
So a chance for Liverpool from the set piece in added time.
Well, Mark Gay was sitting down there, wasn't he? But the referee seems to have talked him back into the game.
I think it was cramp, Glenn.
Or could it be a stunt from Crystal Palace? You're injured until the 2nd of September.
Glenn, how cynical of you.
Anything to keep your best player, John. Or one of your best players.
Yeah, your captain. So it's a corner for Liverpool. A corner. Elliott to take it. Left-footed, clips it into the near post. That is well headed away for Palace. McAllister, then Szoboszlai with a shot, but too close to Dean Henderson, who was dropping down to his knees anyway and able to gather it next to the post.
Yeah, he gathered that really well there, Dean Henderson. He drops to McAllister out of the sky, realises that Szoboszlai's just on his left-hand side, touches it in his path. Szoboszlai hit it first time, but like you say, Dean Henderson was very aware, always moving that way.
An odd clearance from Henderson. A low level right through the middle. Sarr did very well with it, and Gay has gone down again, and Palace are. Dean Henderson saying to Will Hughes, put the ball out of play, which they're going to do, and the change is being made. So Justin Devaney, they're already ready for this. Justin Devaney, the young Northern Ireland international, is going to come on. So I'm presuming that
I think Jefferson Lerma will drop back,
as we saw him do on occasions last season, and Devaney will play in the midfield. So if that's quite a blow for Palace, and we see as well in the Palace end, the Ultras have put up another banner which is aimed at UEFA ahead of the decision tomorrow from the Court for Arbitration for Sport. So the Palace supporters in there, the Holmesdale supporters.
I hope the Court of Arbitration aren't watching the Community Shield.
Well, I think the evidence has already been heard, Glenn, and I think it would be decided to be inadmissible because that hearing was on Friday. But the Palace supporters making it clear. But this is a worry for Palace, having already lost Kamada. Now Mark Gay is having to hobble off the field. I mean, he is able to walk off, and he's walking off to my untrained eye with the look of a man who has cramp.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully he's that way, and it's nothing too serious for Mark Gay. He looks pretty comfortable, like you say, walking off. Not too much immediate attention thrown his way, apart from a couple of water bottles, rehydrate, get ready for a big week leading into the Premier League.
Yeah, it's going to be a big week, isn't it? Or a big few weeks. Eza, Gay, anyone else for Palace.
Even more cynical, Johnny. Maybe just didn't fancy a penalty.
I'm sure, having had a few dealings with Mark Gay, that
I'm joking.
He would fancy anything. I think he's a very level-headed young man, isn't he? Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2. We're in the final minute now, the 5th minute of added time. Penalties on the way as Robertson plays the ball right across the Crystal Palace box, delivered it early as Liverpool were attacking, but Dean Henderson was quickly out of the 6-yard box and claimed it.
Yeah, commanded his area very well there, Dean Henderson, because it was a ball that's been played on many occasions. Robertson to Salah.
Good contest, isn't it? We've got a penalty shootout, and Dean Henderson and Alisson are the two goalkeepers involved.
I just hope if there is a penalty shootout, it's at the Crystal Palace end. And the reason I say that, John, is because there's no sun to contend with.
That's a good point. That is actually a good point. However, that will be decided by the toss of a coin. And Chris Kavanagh,
not common sense.
Chris Kavanagh will very shortly have the whistle to his lips, and it looks as though the Community Shield will be decided on a penalty shootout, because Liverpool have a throw-in near the halfway line. Frimpong takes it, gets it back, then Palace clear it downfield with Jefferson Lerma. Liverpool clear, but only to Hughes. This is the last attack of the match. Eza, 25 yards out, plays it square. Devaney shoots low and wide from just inside the box. Just pulled it, what, a yard wide, Glenn?
Yeah, about that. He was laid into his path by Eza. He had no other option, no on his right-hand side. All he could do was shoot, and he was always going to shoot into that far corner. Couldn't quite get his angles right. It was enough to make the Liverpool goalkeeper, Alisson, scramble across his goal line, but it just rolls past the base of the post.
So Alisson, I think this will be the last kick of the Community Shield in the 90 minutes plus at least. Alisson strikes this downfield, and there is the final whistle, and it has ended. Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2, and so for the 3rd year in a row, and for the 5th time in now 7 seasons, the Community Shield will be decided on a penalty shootout.
It will indeed. It's been a thoroughly enjoyable game of football. Ebbed and flowed either way. Both teams have had very good spells in it. Liverpool were probably the better team throughout, but Crystal Palace showed character, and they were definitely finishing the stronger team, John.
And actually, that shot from Devaney was probably only a foot wide.
Yeah, it was only about a foot wide, yeah. It was very close at the end, Crystal Palace there. But we have the benefit of penalties,
if you want to call it that.
It's more exciting for us, John.
Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2.
Got to say, Glenn, really impressed with Palace's resilience there to come back from behind twice. And actually, if they'd won it at the end, we wouldn't be saying they've nicked it. You could make a very good case for them deserving it, as you could for Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was an evenly balanced, thoroughly entertaining final, without any doubt. I think Liverpool probably tired the more of the two teams. They set off in the second half with a bit more energy, and they could have killed the game off on a couple of occasions. But like I say, Crystal Palace, they came back, they got the equaliser and pushed for the winner towards the end.
Right, the non-penalty. Let's do that now before the actual penalty shootout, because then afterwards we can just focus on the interesting things that have come out of the match before 6:06 at 5:30. So, John, my immediate thought was exactly what you said. Friday night, Lyndon Dykes, Birmingham City, penalty given against him because it hit his hand, which was raised, but he knew absolutely nothing about it. Do they feel almost identical to you, or is there any kind of small difference which might explain a different call?
I mean, I thought Birmingham City were very unfortunate on Friday night, but I think you could make the point on Friday night that the ball was being headed back across goal, you know, and potentially setting up a goal-scoring opportunity. There again, you could argue here, as Glenn said at the time, you know, the hand of McAllister took it away from the chest of Sarr, who was looking to bring it down. But the difference being, on Friday night, it was given as a penalty on the field by the referee. This one was not given on field by the referee.
Ultimately, Glenn, I don't think any neutral wants to see a penalty given for that. Although I completely agree with what you said. If this was a European fixture, that would have been a penalty.
Yeah, but ultimately we want our sport in this country to be more entertaining than anywhere else in the league, in the world, and so far over recent years I think that has been the case. We have got a wonderful brand, which is the Premier League, and for me, I am really comfortable as an ex-professional footballer that isn't a penalty. I didn't feel as though Crystal Palace lost the opportunity to shoot. I feel as though the ball was going to very much land in a similar position if it landed on Sarr's chest and not McAllister's arm. So therefore, for me, I'm comfortable it wasn't a penalty. Listen, if they lost that opportunity to have a shot on goal, I completely understand it should have been one.
Someone's just won a coin toss. Yeah, I'm not sure who.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on that. It was the first coin toss.
Yeah.
So this is Eza, who's now the captain, who's taking the captain's armband. So he was doing the calling with Van Dijk, and it's actually at the end. It's going to be, the penalties are going to be taken at the end with the sunshine, Glenn.
Yeah, has Alisson got a cap? No,
I don't know.
Advantage Crystal Palace.
And I think Van Dijk said that they were going to go first. Liverpool were going to go first. Yes, they are, because Liverpool's players are lining up in the centre circle. So, well, it's a great point Glenn made. The penalties are being taken at the end where there will be low sun. So that sun will be shining right into the eyes of the goalkeepers. There again, it's the same for both goalkeepers.
It is indeed.
I'm not sure it's an afternoon for water bottles with loads of notes on, though, isn't it? It's not a big enough game for that. It's not a friendly, I agree, but I highly doubt the water bottles are covered in notes today.
Well, you say that.
It's not a big game.
Allison's is not, because I can see it.
Okay. I think they have an understanding of who they're playing anyways, do they not?
Probably, yeah. Right, penalty shootout on the way. Let's just nip back to Leicester-Sheffield Wednesday, where Wednesday, last we heard, we're leading. Tom Gale.
That is still the case, Steve. Leicester 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, but clear evidence of the difficulties the away side will face this season if they don't bring in more bodies. 5 minutes after scoring, Nathaniel Chalabar has had to be substituted due to injury, so an already thin bare squad, which is now being stretched even further. We've got just over 8 minutes until the interval. It is Leicester 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Just to keep you right up to date with the 100, Southern Brave women earlier won by 15 runs against Birmingham Phoenix. The men's side completed the double there, 9-wicket win for them. At Trent Bridge, Northern Superchargers women have made it 2 wins from 2. They beat Trent Rockets by 8 wickets. You can listen to the final match of the day, which is the men's contest between those two teams on Sports Extra from 5:55. John.
So this is the penalty shootout to decide the 2025 FA Community Shield. And it will be Liverpool taking the first penalty, and it will be Mo Salah. Not a bad shout from Arne Slot, Glenn Murray.
No, not at all. He's had a quiet game, but I expect from this distance it will be extremely clinical.
It's been taken at the end where all of the Liverpool supporters are, so the Palace fans are watching on from the other half of the stadium. Salah places the ball down on the spot. Dean Henderson on the line. Salah waiting with his hands on his hips, still waiting. Salah, 11 penalties last season. Oh, he's put this over the bar and he's landed it in amongst all of those red shirts. What about that? Salah misses with the first penalty of the shootout.
Well, you don't often see that from Mo Salah. Normally from that distance he's deadly, but this was high, wide and extremely ugly. Gets right under the ball and it lifts way over the top of the bar. Reminds me of a penalty I think he once took away at Bournemouth. Was that right, John?
Well, he does miss and indeed have the odd penalty saved. So Salah misses the target over the top. And now it is the Crystal Palace top scorer from last season to take their first. Jean-Philippe Mateta, nicely done. Having already scored a penalty at that end in normal time, even though this time Alisson went the right way, diving to his left. It was good enough from Mateta, and it's 1-0 to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, strong penalty from Crystal Palace front man. Second one of the afternoon, decides to go the same way this time. Like you said, Alisson goes the right way, but too much power, precision on the penalty. Very casual manner, he walked up to it, but makes it count.
Alexis McAllister now, one of the substitutes. It's going to be the man who takes the second penalty for Liverpool. It is remarkable, I've found, how often the team that misses first goes on to win the penalty shootout, but we'll see. So McAllister looking to score Liverpool's penalty for the first time in the shootout. McAllister gone, it's saved by Henderson. What a leap that was, and what a reaction as well. Henderson with his black cap on stands up and takes it off, and twice flourishes it, his cap, to the Palace supporters down the other end.
He does indeed, he dots it to the Crystal Palace supporters, doesn't he? What a save that is. It's a really good penalty, low, hard to his left-hand side. I had a lot of money on McAllister scoring there, but he gets down well to his left. Dean Henderson, strong arm, tips it round. Can Bereze make it count?
Well, there's no doubt that Dean Henderson does not lack confidence, Glenn, your fellow Cumbrian, and he showed it there. So still 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Eza now with Palace's second penalty. Little steps, a delay, and then it's saved by Alisson under the post. Oh, that's a super save, down to his right, under the inside of the post, and it stayed out.
It did. Well, he almost stopped his run-up, didn't he, John? It was that slow. He's waiting and waiting for Becker to make his move, to just feign one way or another. He doesn't, the Liverpool goalkeeper. He holds his position, makes Eze make a decision, puts it to his right-hand side, not much power on it, manages to get his arm to it, hits the post, and for a moment I thought it was going to roll in the other side. It doesn't.
Well, we've had 4 penalties taken and only 1 scored. It's a little bit like the recent Euros penalty shootout. Gakpo next for Liverpool, he's not messing about, and he scores. Henderson goes the wrong way, diving to his right, and the ball is in the back of the net for the first time for Liverpool in the shootout with their third penalty, and it is 1-1.
Yeah, a bit more momentum to that penalty there. Confident on it, Gakpo. No messing around, strides up, strokes into the left-hand side of the goal.
And now it is the man who scored to make it 2-2 a little earlier, Ismail Assar, the Senegal international. They've not messed about, Crystal Palace, going Mateta, Eza, Sarr with their first 3 penalties, their front 3. So Sarr, no stranger to scoring at Wembley Stadium, but this is a penalty shootout. It's a very direct run-up, probably 4 yards. Just steps, walks to his left, then comes up, little steps, and then taps it beyond the dive of Alisson to his left. That was cool. And there is a little twirl of the hand from Sarr to say thank you very much. It's 2-1 Crystal Palace.
Well, I thought Jean-Philippe Mateta's penalty was casual. That was so laid back, he nearly fell over, John. He walks up to the ball almost and just casually strokes it to the left of Alisson and walks off. Doesn't even break stride, like you say, whirls his wrist round, job done.
So 3 penalties taken each. It is Liverpool 1, Crystal Palace 2. Harvey Elliott next. Alisson actually went and had a word with him, didn't he?
Bit of pressure on this one, John.
Yeah, just a
with
little
his
bit.
Circumstances at the football club.
Yeah, exactly. You know, his future is far from certain. It's going to be a left-footed penalty for Harvey Elliott. who was England's man at the recent Euro Under-21s. Elliott comes up now, and with his left foot, it's saved by Henderson, down to his right. That's a terrific save from Dean Henderson, his former Under-21 colleague with the England team. So Henderson has saved 2, Salah missed, and it is still 2-1 to Crystal Palace. And if they score the next one, Palace have won the Community Shield.
Yeah, well, a lot of the run-ups have been very slow, haven't they, John? It's almost been cat and mouse. Who's going to move first? Who's going to make the first reaction? This time
it's Sosa.
Dean
so
Henderson.
The new signing, Bona Sosa, has been sent forward and could win it, and he's hit the crossbar and it's bounced down and come out. Alisson dived the right way, it was above him, hit the bar, comes out, and Liverpool are still in it.
They are indeed. That's the last thing you want as a new signing, is to miss like he has done there, hits the bar. I'm not sure whether Alisson quite gets a touch, but I did see there, John, was Dean Henderson looking at a piece of paper in his towel. He's got it written down somewhere. I don't think it's on the water bottle. He's used a different tactic.
Okay, and the towel. But it's sudden death now, effectively. Liverpool have to score this. Szoboszlai, the Hungarian captain. Szoboszlai has to score this. Otherwise, Palace have won it. So Dean Henderson, he's read the towel. Szoboszlai with a right-footed penalty, short run-up, and it's brilliantly taken above Dean Henderson. That was dispatched as Henderson went to his right. There was no saving that.
That
2-2
is a proper penalty. That's how you take a penalty. Not slowly up to it. You get on it, you hit it, and make no mistake. Side netting, rolls around the back of the goal. Szoboszlai, very, very good.
Well, it's another interesting choice. Justin Devaney, the 21-year-old Northern Ireland international, who only just came onto the field towards the end of the match, had the chance to win it with almost the last kick of the match. Now he might get the last kick of this Community Shield. So Justin Devaney, remember, this is in front of all of those Liverpool supporters behind the goal, twirling their red scarves and shirts. Devaney on his left foot, up he comes and scores high above Alisson's dive to his left. And Crystal Palace, the FA Cup winners, have now won the Community Shield as well. What a year for them 2025 has been. Oliver Glasner turns and shakes hands with all of the Liverpool coaching staff. Liverpool beaten here in the Carabao Cup final last season, now losing the Community Shield, and it's Crystal Palace's day again at Wembley. They've won the penalty shootout by 3-2.
Well, they have indeed, John, and as Devaney stepped up, I think there was a little bit of worry, wasn't there? Not been in that position before, but boy did he put that into the top corner. An emphatic penalty, worthy of winning any competition. Wheels away to Dean Henderson, quickly followed by the rest of the Crystal Palace squad. That's 2 trophies in a matter of months.
Yeah, never won a major trophy until the day here at Wembley in May, that great day for them, lifting the FA Cup. Now they're going to lift the Community Shield after their very first involvement in this match that has been played for over a century, and once again half of Wembley Stadium is glad all over. Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2, and then Palace winning it 3-2 in the penalty shootout.
Well, so much for 606 to get into. 08085 909 693. Glenn Murray is going to be with Aaron Paul, then Clinton Morrison is going to join. So Crystal Palace fans, what a time to get involved. The lines are open. You can get your call booked in right now. We've still got Sheffield Wednesday leading at Leicester as well as we head into stoppage time in the first half. In Scotland, 2 wins from 2 for Celtic. The only other team to manage that, a Hearts, a 3-2 victory for them at Dundee United in the last minute. Finished Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 2 in the other game. So loads to talk about in just under 15 minutes time. Between now and then, we're going to focus on what's just happened at Wembley Stadium. So Glenn Murray, we had Devaney there with his arms outstretched afterwards. We had the whirling wrist from Ismail Assar and the chapeau from Dean Henderson. Well, quite, hats off.
Yeah, wonderful by Crystal Palace. Like I say, second trophy, matter of months. Really good start. Might kickstart their summer transfer window now, especially with tomorrow, a big decision coming the football club's way tomorrow, which European competition they're going to be. And a little bit more optimism, I think, around Crystal Palace as I look around one half of Wembley.
I'm not trying to overstretch this at all, Glenn, but this is a fixture that will be watched all the way around the world. So was the FA Cup final. Their summer recruitment has not gone brilliantly. If you're a player out there, seeing the atmosphere that Crystal Palace fans create, seeing them have a great day like this again at Wembley Stadium, you'd like to think this would be an attractive club to join right now, whatever competition they're in.
Yeah, without doubt. I think it's a club on the up. You can see from the first 11, it's an exciting 11 to play in. They attack from the back to the front. They attack as one. It's really entertaining football to watch. Why wouldn't you want to join them? I can understand the circumstances and context behind everyone's situation, but it can't be hard to get players into Crystal Palace at the moment.
The problem is, I think, Steve, that when clubs like Crystal Palace have this kind of success, very often history will tell you that it's fleeting because the big players move on, and therefore if they get through to the end of this transfer window with Gay and Eza still as Crystal Palace players, and I know there's a great deal of doubt on whether that'll be the case, but then what you have to do, you absolutely have to do, is step on. And if there will be any European competition, you've got to go for it.
Go on, Glenn, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, without doubt, on any given day, Crystal Palace are a match for anyone.
We'll be back with you two very, very shortly. Let's just get the half-time at Leicester. Tom Gale.
Leicester 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Steve. Nathaniel Chalabar's deflected strike in the 26th minute, which some visitor supporters would have missed as they were still making their way into the ground after remaining outside in protest against their owner, Dapon Chansiri. He ran over to celebrate with a bouncing away and pointing at them and slapping at the badge on his chest. Sadly, the midfielder had to be substituted due to injury. Leicester fans, they showed their class by applauding those Wednesday supporters as they started to trickle into the ground, but they've had little to shout about on the pitch. El Khanous, he had an edge of the box volley, and Vestergaard header, both ended up just inches wide. That was their best efforts, and there were some home boos on the whistle, where at half time it is Leicester 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
We'll be bringing you the presentation of the Community Shield to Crystal Palace before 6:06, which is just under 10 minutes away. 08085 909 693. I do think, Glenn, it's worth mentioning now as well, for all of the talk before the game, when we talked about what's happening with Gay, what's happening with Eza, well, today was about Dean Henderson, and before that, particularly, I think, Ismail Assar.
Yeah, without doubt. Listen, they're only hitting the headlines because of one's contract situation and another's buyout clause, and because they're top performing players in the Premier League and what they did last year. You could name a number of the Crystal Palace players and how good they are and how attractive a proposition they are for other teams. But yeah, two different people stepped up today. But what I will say on behalf of Eze and Gay, they played with a purity. They played for Crystal Palace. They played for their manager. There was no sign of them not wanting to be at the football club.
Yeah, I think interesting now, Steve, just down on the pitch, still waiting for the players to go up. But Dean Henderson is actually going on his own. And for all of the talk about the important Crystal Palace players, no one's talking about Dean Henderson going anywhere. And he's got his cap off again, and he's been waving it to the Crystal Palace supporters. He's on his own. A television camera actually is following him around, and he is very much milking the moment and enjoying it, and why not?
Well, like you mentioned in commentary, John, he's a very confident individual, and he backed himself at Manchester United. He wanted to be number one at Manchester United. They felt he wasn't ready. He's gone to Crystal Palace, and he's proven that he's a top-class goalkeeper.
I remember when he was on loan at Sheffield United in the Championship, and he was about to break a record potentially for number of clean sheets in a row. And I was at the game, and we kind of asked, can we interview Dean Henderson after the match if he keeps another clean sheet? And we were basically told no, because the manager thinks he'll be so overconfident he might say something that we will later regret. So that was, and do you remember when he made an error under Chris Wilder in the Premier League, early doors? I think it was against Liverpool, actually. And Chris Wilder really kind of criticised him, and people said, what's Chris Wilder doing? Well, I think he knew then the character of Dean Henderson, and maybe what we've seen is what was perceived as arrogance just becoming really well-directed self-confidence now, Glenn? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think playing at this level and in such a precarious situation as a goalkeeper, whereas if you make a mistake, the press and the critics can be really on your back and it can be your fault. You need a self-belief. You need a certain edge to you that is undeniable, that no one can break, and he's got that, and he's proven himself to them. He felt as though, 4 years ago he was number one at Manchester United, and you know what, some people at Manchester United might feel that they made a mistake now.
He's just been speaking to TV actually, and just talking about the penalty shootout. He said, I love the big moments. I really enjoyed that today. The homework we did for penalties was great. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes who helped us with that. It worked. So just like I said, Glenn, not the day for notes on towels and water bottles, yeah?
We spotted it, didn't we, halfway through? I think he stitched it into his towel. Now, you can't get rid of that so easily, can you?
Well, after what Hannah Hampton said following the Euros, they've got to find other means, haven't they? But I think we did speak about this a lot last season, didn't we, as the season went on and he became such an important figure for Crystal Palace, and indeed he was in every single England squad last season and played in the last match that England played, albeit the defeat against Senegal in Nottingham, as Liverpool's players are just beginning to go up to receive their medals. He's putting now proper pressure on Jordan Pickford, who, let's not beat about the bush, Pickford is still England's number one, but there's a still relatively new England manager in place, and Dean Henderson is very much demonstrating what he can do, and let's not forget James Trafford's going to be at Manchester City this season, although we'll have to wait and see how much he's going to play.
Let's touch a bit more on Ismaila Sarr there, Glenn. I remember when Palace signed him, it was effectively to replace Michael Olise, wasn't it? So Palace have had to do that before. We've talked about, the issues they sometimes have with late recruitment. What we can also say is they do have a habit of, they might not do it bang on time, but they tend to do it very well. It's true of Henderson and it's true of Sarr.
Well, yeah, and I know that Ismaila Sarr had been on their radar for a very long time.
Right.
And I played with Ismaila at Watford, and on his day, he's unplayable. I actually remember a few years ago, Liverpool were really hot on him. They were keen on him one transfer window, and he maybe wasn't quite... he wasn't there every weekend. He'd be amazing one weekend and then disappear for 3 weekends. Well, I think he's brought that now, where every weekend he is at it, and they really complement themselves, that front three for Crystal Palace. And do you know what? I actually think he probably suits that Crystal Palace side better than Olise, because he doesn't slow the game down. Olise was an unbelievably special talent, and no one could replace him. But as far as in the context of Crystal Palace's front three, he stretches the play naturally, which none of the three did before him.
I think they are, I presume that was done with intent to play those three together, but they are a beautifully different trio in terms of what they bring. Just watching the Liverpool players now, because we're on the lower level, our commentary box at Wembley Stadium, so we're underneath the Royal Box level, and we're watching the Liverpool players now coming back down the metal steps, the grey metal steps to my right, out of the window of the commentary box. So Arne Slot and Virgil van Dijk together, all with rather glum faces, and they've got their Community Shield runners-up medals there. Wataru Endo just walking past with his hanging round his neck, and as well I should mention the Crystal Palace players who are still down on the pitch applauding the Liverpool players when they went up to receive those medals.
Yeah, like you say, glum faces. They're not used to losing this squad, John. I don't think they'll lose much this season. It might be a catalyst for them.
Might well.
Did you see who was part of the old presentation party there, by the way, as they were getting their runners-up medals?
No way.
Yeah. Clinton Morrison shaking hands with the Liverpool players as they walked past. That'll be good on 606 in a few minutes.
Certainly will. Yeah.
I think he's going to be late, isn't he?
Well, I think we knew that before he started, but fancy that. Clinton in the Royal Box.
The business man in football.
He is remarkable. Yeah. And anyway, the Liverpool players have made their way now, all of them, down the steps here, and Palace's players are just beginning to climb up the steps to receive another trophy.
All right, so just before John takes it away with Crystal Palace and the celebrations that will follow, Glenn, let's have a word on Liverpool. How do you assess that today from them?
Oh, listen, they've lost the game, but I think there was signs of brilliance Going into the game, we said that Crystal Palace were unchanged, so they had an understanding of fluidity that Liverpool couldn't match because they're just building those relationships. I think the likes of Ekitike, Wirtz, I was really impressed by Frimpong. I think Kirkes will slip in really well. It's just growing those understandings, what people do, what people like, and this team will be challenging for the Premier League. I mean, they are my tip to win it again. I think they've strengthened from a position of power. I mean, yeah, they've lost today, but at moments they were absolutely superb. The relationship between Ekitike and Wirtz, and listen, we're talking now, there's still a lot of time left in the window, and if they get who they're supposedly getting, Isak, oh geez, what a team that would be. And even Mark Gay on the other side, they're rumoured to be after him. If they could add those two players, this could be one of the best teams we've seen in Premier League history.
Well, I think probably, Glenn, when you join Aaron Paul very shortly, 085 693 on 606, I suspect the name of Alexander Isak will feature heavily in that. I can't help thinking to Harry Kane, you know, in the latter years when it seemed that he was going to move, and actually he also was frozen out briefly at the start of the season, and yet that was very quickly forgotten about. You know, the club were adamant that he wasn't going anywhere. Anyway, you can talk about that on 606 very shortly. The Crystal Palace players are making their way up the steps. They'll have to go up the metal staircase, which is over the other end. In fact, I can just see them now. I can see Will Hughes is making his way up the steps, and now very shortly they'll be receiving their medals. I noticed that Mark Gay is going up as the captain, so having had to leave the field, I suspect it isn't too serious, and he's moving quite freely as he walks up as the last man.
Skipped up the steps.
He almost skipped up the steps. Lacroix is in front of him. Eza finished as the captain, and I did wonder whether we might have seen Eza and Gay lift the trophy together, having both captained the team in this match, but it looks as though it's just going to be Mark Gay. So Oliver Glasner, the manager, he's got a winning knack, you know, hasn't he, Oliver Glasner, having won the FA Cup last season, having won the Europa League when he was at Eintracht Frankfurt,
and top manager.
Yeah, and he's, you know, it does no harm, does it, to get another trophy on your CV. So yes, the medals with the wide golden lanyards are being placed around the necks of all of the Crystal Palace supporters, and I see Steve Parish giving Eberici Eza a big hug there, and that speaks volumes.
A bigger
in
hug
itself.
than anyone else.
and almost I wouldn't have been surprised if he hadn't let go of him. You're not going anywhere.
Slipped some handcuffs on him.
Yes, exactly. And what an eventful penalty shootout that was. Eza's penalty was saved, remember, against the post by Alisson. That was a super save, but Mateta saw. And then young Devaney has also received his medal. And also Dean Henderson is getting a huge hug from Steve Parish as well. What a part that he played in it. What a, you know, his own Wembley story. Dean Henderson now has had another chapter added to it. So very soon Mark Gay will be called forward. The Community Shield, the old charity shield, on the dark wooden background, the silver facing is sitting up there. It is a very, very distinctive footballing trophy. It's been in many, many hands over the years, so many of the big clubs, but it's never been in the hands of Crystal Palace before. So just a couple of months ago they lifted the FA Cup, and now Mark Gay is making his way through in amongst all of his teammates. Do you know, I think Clinton Morrison is actually going to hand over the Community Shield to Mark Gay. And here we go, the Crystal Palace players, the Crystal Palace supporters, everyone in red and blue is waiting for this next trophy lifting moment. Here we go. They've won the FA Cup and they've won the Community Shield. What a year with silverware it's been for Crystal Palace Football Club. Mark Gay with the trophy in his hands again. Who knows what the future holds for him? But he and this Crystal Palace team have provided some brilliant memories for these loyal supporters.
Yeah, they have indeed. And matter how long you've got left on your deal, that'll never get old in front of these supporters. As we look out, we can see the right hand side of Wembley in full voice, and it must be tugging on Mark Gay's heartstrings, because they gave him a home after he left Chelsea. This is his second trophy he's lifted for them. He's made his England debut. It's been a very special club for him, and it must be an extremely hard situation he finds himself in.
So there we are. What an entertaining afternoon that's been. Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 2. Liverpool twice ahead through Ekitike and Frimpong. Palace equalising through Mateta. And then that late goal, 77th minute from Ismail Assar. And then that very eventful penalty shootout, won 3-2 by Crystal Palace, in which Dean Henderson played a big part. Yeah, it was a very enjoyable day for Crystal Palace, certainly.
And Glenn, you know, there's also the fact that we were speaking to a Palace fan when we came on air on 5 Live Sport just after noon today, and you know, he's effectively saying that the summer has been a little bit spoiled by everything that's happening at the minute legally in which competition that Crystal Palace are going to play in. They had that wonderful day in the FA Cup final, then they've had a bit of a rotten summer, so I think they deserve another day like this, don't they?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, they do, because they won the game. But as far as a rotten summer's concerned, listen, they're going to be in a European competition regardless which one it is. Does it really matter? They're going to have wonderful away days in Europe. They're going to fly their badge over the continent. And as far as the transfers are concerned, yes, it's been slow, but mainly Muniz is in a new deal. Henderson's on a long-term deal. Eze and Gay is still at the football club. For me, that is quite a positive summer.
And I've got written down here, John, the 3 big winners of the day: Ismail Assar, Dean Henderson and Clinton Morrison.
Yes, I knew where you were going. I knew where you were going there. But listen, you know, you talk about that. The fact is that the FA Cup final itself provided